rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal. For how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough, that's why I write without obscenities. Provoking danger with broken language and spoken anguish. Begging to get hurt, why would you ask to go through changes? Yes, Lord, life's a chessboard, master the angles. Control the tempo, be the one who holds the info. Acknowledge is just as deadly as machete swings. When spoken, the truth is as potent as that Medellin. While others swear the style is free, I just let it ring. Our time is undervalued, soldiers make us better kings. My fans on my shoulder, reaching after better things. Today I take the shot, for them I'd rather set the screen.
My mama told me follow my dreams. My daddy told me get it by any means. Stand tall, make him bow to a king. But I've evolved, you can see the resolve. Look in my eyes when you speaking to God.
Life and for those who we caught up in using what I was taught with the muse. I guess they call it proving I'm more than an artist. Penciling out my darkest while stenciling out a harvest. And storing what gets me from A to B, just like garages. Instrumental with collages. Envision what I've been drawing. Broadway to give you rhythm like the great Lena on. So bent on, found comfort in the storm. Find peace and on when you see them others perform. Organized chaos, outcasted like hey ya.
Yo, party people in the place to be. What's good? It's your number one chief rockin' Knicks Universe, your main man, Uncle Freezy, and welcome to the premiere Knicks in the Nighttime show, the Knicks at Night podcast. Salute, salute, salute. Salute, everybody. Appreciate y'all coming through. Man, I'm glad to see y'all here, man. If this is your first time here, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. Enjoy the conversation. Man, we have a lot to talk about and a little bit of time to talk about it. So I'm just going to get down to what we call the nitty gritty after. You know what? Before I do that, man, let me do this. Let me shout out our people. Because quite frankly, keeping it a stack, there are a lot of new people in Knicks Universe coming through, subscribing to a lot of channels, and just want to say to all of y'all, welcome, right? Welcome to all of y'all that are discovering us, whether it's this channel or other Knicks content creation or other YouTube channels. Salute to y'all, right? Just want to say welcome to y'all because sometimes we kind of get away from that. I noticed that a lot of the channels are not like saluting y'all and welcoming y'all in, and I'm just as guilty as everybody else. So I kind of want to change that a little bit here. I can't change it in other places, but here I want to say welcome, right? Welcome to our joint. Man, we talk Knicks basketball here. We should be talking Mets baseball too, but I just don't have time. So Keith Turner is in the building. Salute. Andy Yost was good. Fred Wong is in the building. Salute. Who else did I see? I thought I saw Miguel P. Did I see Miguel? Miguel P is in the building. Salute to everybody watching us on X. Salute to our X crowd. So we have a few people. I asked Ribs to come through and hang out with me. Tori B is in the building. Tori B, what's happening? Hey, Tori B, what's happening? That's all I'm going to say. All I'm going to say is if it wasn't for the Bronx, that's all I'm going to say. I ain't going to say nothing else. Yo. Yo, Randall, what's good? What's good? Lee in the building. Yeah, man. Salute, y'all. Salute. So yeah, so the channel is growing. We're trying to abide by the YouTube guidelines, making sure that we are a decent YouTube partner. Also want to welcome everybody in. Amani the Great is in the building. Salute. Tori B says, I'm showing up for the wins and losses. Right. Nah, listen. listen, I have a lot to say about tonight's loss, right? Whatever. We have a lot to say about every game, win or loss. So you can expect that, right? But what I'm talking about is, yo, Tory B came on the joint one time and we ain't heard nothing else. I was like, yo, hi, it was good. But that is that. That is that, right? Brooklyn Butch in the building. Yo, my guy, what's good? Brooklyn Butch is in the building. Salute. Brooklyn Butch is in the building. Salute, my guy. Salute, salute. I'm gonna take this thing. Y'all listen, man. I'm gonna get comfortable, right? So I'm gonna take this thing off, and I'm gonna get comfortable for a little bit because there are some things that I wanna say that I watched content creators tonight, and this time I'll let y'all know who they were. So tonight I watched a little bit of Knicks Fan TV with Alex and CK2K. I watched a little bit of that because I'm a big CK2K fan, right? I really like CK2K, right? I caught a little bit of the Nick of Time show, a little bit of it. By the time I got there, they were kind of wrapping up a little bit. They kind of like, I think they were a little disgusted about the outcome tonight. I am too, right? And then I saw a little bit of Nothing But Knicks, and as soon as I clicked on the button, Mets was on the joint crashing out on Mets was crashing out on Nothing But Knicks, right? So I caught a little bit of those three. I didn't get a chance to get around Knicks Universe because I was working on a couple things. I was working on editing the Easy Star episode, the Easy Star podcast episode 2. Y'all check that out if you can. I was also working on a new article that we have out. It is called "It's Spring Again," and so I'm gonna put let me get a link to that. So I'm gonna get a link to that and put that here. So that's the Substack place, right? I probably should have put it in the description. I'll put it in the description. I only have 2 hands. I'll be trying to get Corey Lee to help me, man. But Corey Lee, all he want to do is criticize me. I'm messing around. Yo, I'm messing around, Lee. Lee, don't you do it. Don't you do it. Don't you crash out on me, Corey. Don't you do it. So yeah, nah, we're just working on it. So I didn't get a chance to get around Knicks Universe kind of like I wanted to. But I did get to do what do you call it? Oh, jeez. Where's the Easy Star? I'm gonna put Easy Star. I'm gonna put the Easy Star joint in here too. Right. I'm gonna put the Easy Star in the description also. Yeah, just give me a chance. I'm trying to figure out a way to get the. I want to. Oh, there it is. There's the share button. So the Easy Star podcast is a joint that is basically for New Yorkers and our first gen for our first gen people that live in a New York tri-state area. So let me do this. LI1 is in the building. LI1 was good. HRM was good. Yeah, man. So let me do this. I'm gonna add this. So because I think I asked Lee and Ribs and Coach to kind of come through because I wanted to kind of get their feedback on some stuff. So I'm gonna just say this, everybody. What I found out tonight was all the content creators were talking about the box score. all the content creators were talking about the box score. I want to talk to you guys about how we got to the box score, how we got there. And so some stuff is going to sound like harsh criticism, and other stuff is going to sound like I'm a homer. And to be honest with you, I'm a Knicks fan, so it may be both. Right? I'm a Knicks fan, so it may be both. It may sound like harsh criticism, and some may sound like I'm a homer, but I am a homer. I'm a Knicks fan. So if you expect anything other than me going to bat for the Knicks, I'm sorry. Yo, what's good? Lee in the building. Salute.
Big bro, what's good? What's good? What's good? Hello to the chat. Hello to everybody, you know what I'm saying, that's out there in Knicks Nation, Knicks Universe. And shout out to the you know what I'm saying, replay gang. You know what I'm saying? Remember our goal now, you know what I'm saying? We got to the 10, now we getting to 15.
Yeah.
Please help us get there. But with that said, yo, man, Freezy. Yo, man. They threw everything at us and the kitchen sink. They threw everything at us. And what I'm talking about, they had all 9 of them in effect tonight.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the people on the court, the head coach, and the referee staff, in my opinion. But still, you know what I'm saying? You know, out there against us, you know what I'm saying? Yo, could we have done a lot of things differently? You doggone right. Could we have been smarter, more patient, less aggressive in a lot of situations? Yes. Could we take care of the basketball? Of course. You know, hey man, it's another stepping stone in growing. You know, I hate to go down there, but back down to Detroit, you know what I'm saying? Go and pull into Little Caesars and ask, yo, them get a hot and ready with Parmesan and butter garlic to go.
Yo, so I need some real Parmesanos. I need some real Parmesanos, dog. I need for them to pull out that little grater and grate it on my pizza, bro. I don't want nothing out the bottle, bro. I'm sorry.
Man, yeah, I'll take anything to go right now. Let's get the flock on.
Right. Yo, let me I'm gonna get to like the nitty-gritty of why the Knicks lost tonight, right? Because I know people are gonna mention a confluence of a lot of different things, right? Hey man, Mikal Bridges missed a lot of shots early. Jalen Brunson had his worst offensive game. Cat defense was sketchy at times. He played Mitchell Robinson too many minutes in a row. The bench, Cameron Payne didn't give us nothing. Deuce McBride should be traded in the offseason. So all these different things is what I heard tonight, right? What I'm gonna tell y'all is this. JB Bickerstaff made an adjustment based on something he saw in the fourth quarter of Game 4. And he came out in Game 5 and emphasized it. And Tom Thibodeau didn't adjust until he grabbed Mitch off the bench and played Mitch almost 30 minutes. It's as simple as that for me. Right? Did you see the adjustment that they made?
Bro, it looked like I don't know, I'm aging myself right now, but like a Shaw's Brothers Chinese movie flick. And it was like we was on the whim of winning, and next thing you know, they just took it from us. They did what we did to them, you know. And I'm not mad at nobody. We would honestly, in my opinion, and I'm not shooting nobody bail. These cats couldn't hit nothing tonight. No. And of course, we should have manufactured shots a lot better and a hell of a lot easier. But it's the Knicks. We don't do nothing easy. And, and all I'm just thinking about is the stinking hot and ready that I just said earlier with the garlic. I'm sorry. But nah, but I'm gonna keep it about. Oh man, Tibbs could have jumped. He was a step slow today.
Well,
But
well, let me say this. I'm gonna just say this. Tom Thibodeau stayed in drop coverage when Detroit didn't have a dominant player at the rim.
agreed.
Right. And so hold on. Tom Thibodeau stayed in drop coverage. Tori B, what's good?
Hey, Breezy, you can hear me?
Yeah, you sound great. Yo, so I'm gonna just say this thing real quick before y'all get in your bag, because I know Lee is ready to get in his bag. I just want to throw this out there. This is my thought. Tom Thibodeau stayed in drop coverage, right, for too long, right? And so what happened is in game 4, they saw Cat rise to the level of Cade, which stopped Cade from getting his offense off, which frustrated Cade and threw his shots off. And so they came in today with the same strategy, like, hey, without Cade, we chop off the head of the snake. They can't score. But what happened is Detroit adjusted by sending a cut every time Cat took a step towards Cade. They filled in behind Cade, and you saw Detroit getting layups and dunks at the rim. And so what Tibs did to adjust to that, right? Instead of having Cade play back and trust OG to stop Cade, he brought in Mitch. And so when he brought in Mitch, you take another offensive player off the floor. Your offense doesn't run as smoothly, not because Mitch is a bad offensive player, but because Mitch Robinson hadn't had the opportunity to play offense with those guys. So everybody looked a step slow and a beat off. That was an adjustment made by JB Bickerstaff, right? Tom Thibodeau didn't make the adjustment to that adjustment, and it's the reason why it looked like Mikal Bridges was off, OG was off, Jalen Brunson was off, because you changed personnel in the middle of a joint, and now everybody's trying to develop, and plus you're trying to do this with JB on a bum ankle. He can't get to the same spots that he used to get to, and now we're going from a team that is a pretty good offensive team if you give us one-on-one matchups to an all-defensive team that's struggling with Cat on the floor defensively. Cat gave up a lot of stuff, a lot of defensive looks, but it's not because Cat's a bad defender. It's because now you got Cat trying to guard people on the perimeter instead of playing the 5 at the level to cut off Cade Cunningham and cut off lobs. As soon as he did that, as soon as JB made the adjustment, y'all noticed tonight. And I was Lee, you was watching the game on playback TV with us, right?
Of course, young man. Of course.
You remember how many times I was like, "Yo, watch they get a dunk right here." You remember that? Remember how
of course.
The dunks during the game?
Of course.
Right, and that's because with Cat playing at the level, you could get the ball behind Cat and get layups and dunks at the rim.
Now, okay.
That's my thought on it.
Nah, but with that said, big bro, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie to you. They finished better. They got to the basket and finished. We didn't. You know how many missed layups we had tonight? It's retarded. You know what I'm saying? Excuse my language.
Yeah, Lee trying to get us on the.
No.
Yeah.
But my point of it all.
Yeah.
Speaking of my point though, is the fact that we should have better concentration getting to the basket. I understand, it was a very physical game. We just didn't execute like we should have, considering, the 3-point shot was off dramatically to some degree. I think we shot, like, as a whole, maybe, was it 9 out of 21 3-pointers, I think, which is like below 50%. And not bad, but just, the shots that we knocked down weren't big enough and they weren't at the right moments. Defense could have been a lot better. Also, too, though, we could control the pace a lot more better, and rebound the basketball better. I'm not saying we were horrible. We were out there. We just, man, it's just neither one of our big dogs had it tonight, and that's bad because see, that's when we need one of our third or fourth players to step up and do certain things. But I'm not mad at them.
Sorry, B.
Out
What
of them,
Lee
they
talking
play
about?
hard.
He's saying our bigs didn't have it tonight. What he talking about?
I said I'm talking about our big time players.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm talking
Exactly.
about
Let me
Brunson
clean it
and
up.
Cat.
That wasn't just Brunson and Cat, it was everybody. They was all off. That's why
Yeah.
I'm not crashing out, because they just wasn't hitting shots. They got
Yeah.
wide open looks. It's not like they didn't get the shots that they wanted to get. I mean, at some points they didn't, but for the most part, they got the shots off. They just wasn't hitting them.
They just want him.
So
We
I'm
took
not
90
crashing
of them.
out because we lost by 3 in a game we shot horribly in. So I'm not worried. That's why I'm not in crash out mode. They just couldn't hit anything.
So where does that come from? Does that come from? So let me just ask, because this is a simple question. I just want to ask, not just for the sake of asking, but I need some understanding on this. Because my stance on it is we missed shots because I thought our chemistry was off offensively. Right? Do you think it was maybe Detroit defense that was smothering us like that? Is that what it is? The physicality too much for us?
No, and I don't think this game was as physical as the last 2 games.
Right.
So no, I don't think it was the deep. I'm not taking away from the fact that they were playing decent defense. It's not like they weren't, but I don't think this game was
Right.
as physical as the last 2 games. So I'm not gonna say, hey, their defense was so good we couldn't hit shots. They just was off. It happens.
Okay.
That's why I'm not crashing out. I just think everybody was off tonight. It just looked bad. It looked bad the whole game. And I
Yeah.
knew that the first couple of minutes of the game, I'm like, oh boy, this not gonna go well.
Right. Right. Lee, how'd you like the way Mitch looked tonight?
Oh, he was not horrible. He was good on a lot of stretches. I mean, he made a lot of big plays. He put up some points, put up some baskets, he knocked down some foul shots. I think in certain situations, I think he could have executed better, especially on defense or trying to rebound the basketball. But it's not to the point where I'm mad at him because you know, I told you, I said it was 5-on-9, so it was considering where we were at and what we were trying to achieve. I'm not even gonna jump out the window with it. And also too, this should not be a Shaw's brother movie about trying to kung fu Tibs back in because he did. I think he did fairly well considering, because all we needed was 2 or 3 stops.
So what did Tibbs do well though?
I mean, he pretty much kept us in the game. He helped keep these guys. He allowed them to play themselves back in and out the game. The only thing I might have a question on is that trying to sub in them players the last 2 minutes and whether should he have called a timeout or not, whether we had that or not, because I don't really remember. But I'm still not holding that against him, because maybe he would have got the stop, maybe we would have got those 2 players in, and possibly we could have got some better shots. But who knows? It happens. It's part of growing, and I believe we're gonna do a lot better going back up there to Little Caesars.
You thinking the same thing, Turby? You think Tibbs did a decent job tonight coaching?
I don't think he did a bad job. There was only maybe 2 times I had a complaint, and that was during they come back, that run. They went on a 9-0 run, and they had like 3 straight possessions where they rushed it and turned the ball over because they was throwing the ball at Mitch's feet.
Yeah.
That right there, that first time they did that, he should have called the timeout.
Right.
And then in the end, when he had that one timeout left with 2, you get your players back in the game.
Come on, Tibbs, what you doing?
You get your players back in the game. I don't know what that was about. You don't let that much time go off the clock in a close game. Just get them back in the game. Worry
Right.
about that timeout later. That's just I don't know what he was saving it for. Just put him back in the game.
So boss lady, you read my mind. I ain't even gonna front. And so that part that you just mentioned is the reason why I give Tom Thibodeau a double F- coaching for this game here. When you have think about it, when you're down by 5, right? When you're down by 5 with about 70 seconds left to go, right? You
Yep.
don't play back and let Cade stand in the center of the floor and dribble out the game clock.
Right.
Right? He's legit, but he just stood there and dribbled out the game clock. And Tibs was looking at them like, yeah, let's just help them. Let's just make them miss. Because the thing is, you have to understand time and score. In a 2-possession game, he dribbled the ball out to under 50 seconds, 48 seconds. That's only 2 NBA shot clocks.
He could have brought them back in the game with over 2. It was like 2:30 or something left in the game. And he had them at that scorer's table just standing there.
Just
Call
waiting.
the time out. Get your best guys back on the floor and worry about that timeout another time. You a coach. Coach through it.
Coach through it. You know what he could have did? He could have also, and I call it ordering the code red. He could have ordered the code red. Basically, he could have just told one of his players to foul somebody.
Exactly.
Just a random person, just foul a random person. It creates a stopped clock, right? You get to sub who you want. You get to save your timeout, right? You get to save your timeout for later, but he didn't do that.
Nope.
No, that's what I was expecting him to do. It was the foul.
Yeah.
Not really timeout, but the foul part. I was like, yeah, I was down for that.
But Lee, you know what? That's not a strategic misgiving. That's a character flaw, right? Because you remember the game we lost to the Celtics when Tom Thibodeau said, "Yeah, we don't foul in these situations." Remember the Tatum 3 over OT?
And I actually didn't have a problem with that. But yes, I remember.
But so that's a coaching characteristic issue, right? With that, right? The same thing happened tonight. The situation looked different, but the time and score situation was the same. Detroit doesn't have a Jason Tatum, right? We all know that, right? They don't have. Detroit is not a championship level team that has been through all the wars and all that stuff. Detroit's a different team. So I understand if he was thinking, all we have to do is turn up the pressure and turn them over. But you can't risk that in a closeout game.
No.
This is a closeout game. You have to play fundamental NBA basketball at the highest level. And if you can't do that against the Pistons of the world, what's going to happen if we do win this series and go up against the Celtics of the world? Right? And so that's why I was thinking like Tibbs deserves a double F- for this because, and also there was a stretch where we knew Jalen Brunson was off, right? Because I think JB might have been like 4 for 15 or something like that. And that's not a typical Jalen Brunson night, right? That's not a typical Jalen Brunson night, right? Typical Jalen Brunson night, even if he starts off slow, he at least get others involved. You know what I'm saying? To at least have them score until he can get it going, whether it's at the free throw line or he gets the classic Jalen Brunson floppy dreads everywhere and one, the clutch moment, the dagger 3, something like that. But we didn't get that moment tonight. And so I think we kind of waited too long waiting on that moment. I don't know, man. I don't mean salute. Allah Wise is in the building. Wise says, no, it wasn't. We got 2 stops and 2 open looks. If we meant, I knew it. It's always some op. It's like you can't legitimately speak basketball, man, without Wise coming through trolling. I appreciate the troll, bro. I appreciate the troll, right? Clearly, Wise is
You're
like
not 100% wrong. No, we did blow them shots we had 2 shots. We could have tied the game up. It's not like they scored every possession down. We could have tied that game. But
right.
again, everybody was off. It was like nobody was hitting shots, and that wasn't even like they was playing such tremendous deep. They just was missing.
And so, but here's the thing.
And hold on a second. And that's why.
The thing, Lee. Here's the thing. If you know your team is off, then why are you waiting to come down to the stretch thinking you can make it if you know your team had been off for 2 hours?
Because you got Captain Clutch, unfortunately.
Man, nah, bro. Come on, dog.
Well, he wasn't out there, but
Come on,
But
dog.
the
We could Monday morning quarterback this to death.
exactly.
Cat was on the floor, and it's not like the man can't shoot. Like he'll pull a 30-footer out his butt.
Yeah.
I don't want to curse, but
Yeah.
in a heartbeat. So it's not like the man can't knock a shot down. So when you got the guy out there, you thinking, all right, we got a shot. It just ain't work tonight.
Yeah. No, I think the offensive part is not even the part that I'm frustrated with Tibs about. Right. The thing that I'm critiquing is JB Bickerstaff made an adjustment. He was like, yo, every time they bring Cat up to the thing, just get that thing back door for a layup at the rim. And we couldn't stop it. It was to a point where they even threw a lob to Assault Thompson out of it one time. And so I'm thinking like, okay, so they basically have us thinking that we have to pick our poison in our pick and roll coverage. And so the thing that I wanted to do, the thing I wanted to see Tom Thibodeau do is force Jalen Duren to create offense on his own to validate the fact that he was running that drop pick and roll coverage. Like, why are we running it if Jalen Duren is not an offensive threat at the 5? Oh, Wiz is calling you out, Lee. You see that?
You calling me out?
Yeah. He
Okay,
said
well,
Corey Lee is quick to call out certain players' flaws, but can't seem to call out Tibbs. Yeah, I agree on this one, bro. I ain't gonna front.
Hold on a second. Because it was just more than not stop. Because it was just more than just Duran doing that too. We had a Assault Thompson out there as well. You know, he mixed it up. JB Bickerstaff mixed that up. It wasn't just Duran. I was sitting there thinking about what you said. So, with that said, you know, he ran that play several different times and they mixed it up with different personnel. I'm not cutting nobody no slack. Hey, man, maybe they should have got on it quicker. Maybe they should have been paying attention to that, but they weren't thinking about that in the heat of the moment. And this is when I say, yo, a lot of that is on the players versus the coach. Because we did have two different types of personnel out there when they did that. Because we switched it up to Mitch and as well as Cat at the same time when we had it happen to us a couple of times out there. You know what I'm saying? Because they did it also too. They did it with Tobias Harris.
Yeah.
That same play you talking about.
Yeah. They did it. They did it to Cat. They did it to Cat about 6 or 7 times. And then when Tibbs put Mitch out there, they still ran it anyway. When I saw them run it anyway, when Mitch was out there, I was like, they saw something on film that they're trying to exploit. Because even if you run it, when we make an adjustment to your adjustment and you still run it anyway, that means you believe in what you saw on tape.
Okay, but also too, that's also communicating with each other, and that didn't happen. But you know, kudos to what you're saying. Because more than likely, it should have been the coach to really recognize that, or somebody on the coaching staff to even enlighten the coach with that. But even though talking to him is like talking to a what I'm saying, a yard of bricks. So it happened.
And I'm not saying, and listen, I'm not throwing Tom Thibodeau under the bus because I'm the same person. When we won game 1, I absolutely went to bat for that man, saying
No doubt.
that game one of this series was a masterclass of a veteran coach versus a younger coach. Right. And JB is not super young, but you know what I mean. In terms of,
Considering the history.
Yeah. Yeah, because game 1 was a masterclass. Tom Thibodeau had a whole bunch of stuff on tape, and he came out running rub screens for Karl Anthony Towns to get him free to get down on the post. And he had Mikal Bridges initiating offense with Jalen Brunson off the ball. So Detroit's set defense had to reset itself and figure it out because we were attacking them from a different way. But tonight, our attacking pick and roll defense was attacked. It was bombarded. And that's how you got a lot of. Think about how many fouls we got right off that box at the rim.
Oh man, it was ridiculous. It was
How
a
many
lot.
times? How many times you saw a Knicks player get a foul in that area because they had their regular defensive assignment and then had to recover for the hole in the defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So yeah, so in a 7-game series, you're gonna have your ebbs and flows.
exactly. And then in that particular adjustment, that allowed them to either knock down them shots or even not put us in foul trouble. So, like you just said, ebbs and flows.
Yeah,
that, that was horrible. But
yeah.
it happens, man. And I think he probably would have came. I think his whole thing was the only thing I'm really gonna be upset with him about is just at that 2 minute mark. He really should have got those players in and really called a timeout.
Right, right. What I would have also done, there were Tory B. There were a couple of other moments in the game. Now I'm not Tom
Mhm.
Thibodeau, right? I'm not Tom Thibodeau. I believe Tom Thibodeau is a Hall of Fame caliber coach, right? So when I speak to this stuff, I'm not saying that this dude is a dunce or a doofus. What I'm saying is Monday morning quarterback, everybody's right. Hindsight is 2020, right? Is what I'm basically what I'm saying, right? But every time Detroit went on a run in this game, I would have called the timeout to stop the momentum. And because it's tough for a visiting team to build momentum on the road. And so I'd have called time, even if I'd have burned through them. I just had to burn through timeouts. Right. It's just what it is. Right. The other thing, when Karl Anthony Towns picked up his 5th foul, I would have challenged that. And the reason why I would have challenged it is because Tibbs hadn't used a challenge all game. So
And
what's
then
the harm?
extended some
It
time.
was a couple of times I thought he was going to use that challenge, and he didn't.
And he didn't, right? And so the point that the point I was getting is even if you lose the challenge, right? Even if you lose the challenge, the practical part of it is challenges. The challenge timeout is generally 4 or 5 times longer than a 2-minute timeout. So
Right.
even if you challenge and you lose, your players get the rest. You feel me? The upside
Mhm.
to it is, yeah, you get the thing overturned, but in a series where Landry Shamit's not playing, Campaign only played a sprinkling of minutes, Deuce played significant minutes, but not enough to be impactful. So you basically got 6 guys out there giving it they all in a closeout game. Why not use those challenges so you can put those guys, rest them? You think, Lee, you don't think Mitchell Robinson could have used a 7-minute break during the game, waiting on the challenge? I think so.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, most definitely. My bad, man. I got these fat thumbs. Hey, bro, Mitch could have used a lot of things, and not even just Mitch, but Cat as well,
Yeah,
because
all
they
of
look,
them.
yeah, because they look like they were dragging, and I think that all 8 of them that went out there and played, or even I don't even think it really was 7 that
Yeah,
went
for
out
the
there.
most part.
Yeah, 7 really got out there and did something, or tried to
Right.
do something. They could have used that. I think Tibs was being a little too conservative tonight. He tried.
Right.
I think he.
He's
You know
been
what
a
I'm
little
saying?
too conservative this series.
Right.
That
Right.
rotation way too short.
I
I
mean,
think so too.
I understand you, my dear, but I'm not gonna argue that part yet until I see in my mind that it actually cost us. And you might be right though. So, and I'm not hating. I'm not disparaging nothing that you just said. But I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. What that means though is also too with that rope. You know what I'm saying? A lot gains to be hung by if you don't get it right.
Right.
I'm no Tibbs fan. Let me not say that. I don't think he's the right coach for this group of players. I don't think he's a bad coach. I just don't think he's the right coach for this group of
Oh
players.
no.
But I will say this, with the exception of some moments in this game and
I
maybe
let her
game
have that
two,
because of
I think
gender.
he really has been doing a good job.
Right.
Hey, I
I
like how you
don't I
point that
don't
up.
I don't I don't really have too much fault. I don't really have too much fault with him this game. I don't. I really don't. I think you can only draw up the X's and O's. They got to go out and execute. There's a couple of times when he should have did something different, and because we can see that now. But for the most part, I think he did a good job today.
Situational wise, I think he gets an
But
F on situations.
my big fault with him today is no one had it going. Put somebody else in the game. Throw Precious out there. Put Shaman in. Put
Right,
anybody in. Do something.
right, right.
These guys
That's
were not. They were not hitting baskets. Like you got to put somebody else out there at some point, because that's not going. I don't like to look ahead, but that's never going to work against Boston. You cannot run this 7-man rotation. That's never going to work.
right. In a
You
closeout
need
game,
more
I
bodies.
agree.
It's never going to work.
Especially when, and so I agree with you in this context. What you said just now to me is high level thinking when you're talking about basketball itself, like playoff basketball. The thing is, what fans don't recognize is that when the game gets more physical and the energy and intensity is ratcheted up, these players are using more energy. And so when they use more energy and you shorten the bench,
You're
basically
killing
you're
your
gonna have tired
guys.
legs. Yeah,
There's no
yeah.
way they can hit jump shots in the fourth quarter if they tired.
And see, the thing is game
Jump shots,
5.
you need your legs for that.
Yes, that's why I'm glad you. So that's why I'm glad you said it. Because it's game 5. That
There's
means
no
they
reason why you can't run Precious out there or run Hot 40 out there for a few minutes. Put them out there. You got
right.
6 fouls. Go use and all your guys is in foul trouble. Just put them out there.
Just put them out there. You don't need because here's the thing, and I'm glad you said that part too. Right. I'm glad you said or that part also. Right. Because even if you put them out there and the defense is still great and you don't get offense, guess what? The defense
You
was
didn't lose
great.
anything.
Right. You ain't lost nothing.
You didn't lose anything.
Right. Right. So you read my mind on that. So you read my mind on that. Right. Because if it's gonna be a net zero, then why not put people out there for that net zero? You don't have to
It
have an
doesn't make any
explosion
sense.
of offense off the bench. If it's a net zero, basically Detroit didn't gain nothing and the Knicks didn't lose anything.
And that was my problem with Tibbs all season long. You waited for Precious to come back. He hurt, he hurt, he hurt. He come back, he was playing well.
Right.
Soon as Mitch came back, that man became obsolete. He was getting no run. What does that do to somebody's ego, man? What does that do to them? They think that they're not good enough to be there.
Right.
So the few minutes that you putting him on the floor, he just out there lost.
The few minutes you
He
put them out there,
crushed
they
that
look
man's
like
spirit, man. That's horrible coaching, man. You don't do that to your players. You shortening your rotation like it's the players. It's ridiculous.
that's why you gotta have the Bronx on the panel, everybody. I'm sorry. If you from Brooklyn, I love you. If you from Queens, New York, I love you. If you from Staten Island, I love you. You know what I'm saying? If you from Connecticut, listen, I love you. But that's why you gotta have it. But that's if it wasn't for the Bronx, I ain't gotta say the rest. Y'all already know.
Yo, it always takes a cat from Jersey to instigate some good stuff. Yeah, I like it.
And I don't even know why Sherman ain't getting no run. Like at the end of the season, he was looking good. He finally looked like he was over his little injury or whatever. He was
Right.
knocking some shots down. You put him in one game for a few minutes. I think he may have taken one shot, and now he don't play no more. I don't understand.
I don't
I'm
get
not a
it.
big Shamit fan,
Neither.
but at the end of the season, because I said to myself, I'd be happy if I'm fine with never seeing him again. But he was at the end of the season, he was out there, he was playing well, knocking shots down. I'm like, all right, maybe I was a little too hasty. That man ain't getting no burn. I don't understand it. I don't know what Tibbs be thinking about. I don't get
Maybe
it.
he don't like dudes that knock down open shots.
That part. Okay. Listen, it's the Knicks. We don't do anything easy.
Nah, if
Nothing.
it's
I've been a
not,
Knicks fan for so long and it's never easy. Ever. Ever.
yo, it's just that he's not hitting them down immediately.
But you
immediately.
can't get if you don't get a shot in rhythm. You get one shot, you're out there for 4 minutes. Like, how are you ever gonna get in rhythm to knock shots down, especially in a super physical series?
Madam, I don't disagree
Like,
with you.
I don't
To
get
say
it.
the
I don't
bit.
know.
It's
I don't
yo,
know.
that's dude, man.
Like,
I
we
can't,
waited so long to get
as
our
much as
team.
I try to defend him, I can't defend him today.
I, I'm
Right.
not. This not a trash Tibbs session, right?
Nah,
Because
nope.
again, I don't think that he is coaching a bad series. Like in games, we went into
Today he dropped
Detroit.
the ball though.
I get it, but we went into Detroit, super hostile territory, deck stacked against us, super physical, not getting caught. We got away with our fair share of stuff, but not as much as Detroit, not as much as those guys, and we won twice.
Right.
So it's not like Tibbs is not doing a good job with coach because you're not winning those games without a good coach on your side. It's just not happening. He coached two great games
Right.
today. He just was. I don't get it. And you know what? I don't like the changing of the way that they're officiating the games. Like it's either
Right.
going to be one way or the other. It's either going to be a super physical series or it's just not. That shouldn't go by way of crew. And that
Right.
I don't know what that official name. That boy-headed black guy that officiated that game. Every time we lose when he there.
Right.
Every single time I don't like that guy. Every time he
Adam
there, we
Silver.
lose.
Adam Silver. Make sure he be there. That's my conspiracy theory. Like, yo, you want
Yeah, like,
entertainment? Put that dude on the next game.
Son's a
but
plant.
it's
Son's a
just
plant. He's a plant.
Yeah.
like I don't get it every single time. I'm like, yo, every time he here, we lose. Every time. But I don't know. I don't know. Tibbs is just, I don't know. Like you look at him for 2 games and you're like, wow, like maybe I was wrong. And then today comes and you're like, maybe I wasn't.
Right.
Maybe I wasn't.
I ain't gonna front. I ain't gonna front. Lee, I ain't gonna front, right? This is my thing, right? You know, I'm like the least emotional dude ever. Y'all talk to me on the phone, bro. Y'all know how I am. I'm like the least emotional dude ever. Like dudes be telling me stuff. I'm like, okay. Right. But today I was in this mindset, this emotional place of tonight gonna be our coronation, right? Our captain gonna get his NBA award. You know what I'm saying? We on TNT at 7:30. We in the prime slot. You know what I'm saying? We got these bums on our floor. This is gonna be our coronation tonight. Like I'm thinking fourth quarter. Lee, I ain't gonna lie. I'm thinking fourth quarter. We up by 20. Cameron Payne gonna be out there cooking, doing them goofy faces or whatever. This is what I'm thinking all day, right? And all it takes, all in my mind, all it would take is for Tom Thibodeau to run some offense, Frank, because we took 90 shots, right? It's not like we didn't shoot the ball, right? But all it takes is for Tom Thibodeau, hey, they overplaying Brunson out top. Mitchell Robinson is screening 40 feet away from the rim. Man, just want to rub screen for Cat to get mismatched on Assault Thompson. Just keep running that play over again, Cat on the box, so they'll have to double team so that we can get Mikal Bridges on those backside 3-point attempts. That's what I was thinking. Like, yo, that's easy. You ran it in game 1. You know how to run it because you ran it already. That's how Uncle Freezy know what the play is. You ran it. Y'all
Tibbs
comfortable
forgot
running
it.
it.
He forgot it. That's all. He forgot
Oh
today.
my God. Oh.
He forgot.
like
He forgot.
Lee, I ain't gonna front, that play would never have been on my radar if I didn't see Tibbs run that play over and over again in game 1. We wouldn't even know that they could do that or that was in their bag, but they showed us. And then tonight we struggling getting into offense. So much when you see Mitchell Robinson screening 35, 40 feet away from the rim, Tori B, think about this. Mitchell Robinson screen 40 feet away from the rim, right? What is he going to do once Jalen Brunson turned the corner, headed to the rim? What is Mitch going to do from 35 feet?
Nothing.
Track me to the rim.
Why is he even?
Nothing.
Y'all feel me? Chat, you feel me? Like, why is Mitch screening 40 feet away from the rim? Because even if they pass it to him,
He can't do anything with the ball. He's
he
not
ain't
hitting
gonna
the shot from there.
he not gonna do nothing with it. He gonna dribble handoff to the closest ball handler, bringing his defender to the ball.
That is Tibs' fault. Because you can't use him and Cat the same way because he can't hit the shots Cat can hit. And that's what he does. When he subs out Cat for Mitch, he uses him the same way.
What'd you say?
I said you can't use Mitch and Cat the same way. When he sub him out, when he sub out Mitch, Cat for Mitch, he had Mitch setting the same screens that Cat set. But Mitch can't hit that shot. You have to adjust. Yes, Brunson need a screen. Or you want to set the screen for him, but you can't use Mitch the same way you use Cat.
See, this is why it's good to have different people come through and rock. See, because Lee never told me that, and I never even thought about that.
Yo, I ain't never lied. Yo, I ain't gonna lie neither. Me neither. I didn't think it from that perspective.
You sub him out, you use him to do the exact same things the Cat is doing, but he cannot hit that 30-foot 3-pointer. He can't hit a 20-foot 2-pointer. Like, Mitch place is under the basket.
Right.
So if you're gonna sub him out, you gotta adjust, and he's not adjusting. But I'm gonna give him a little tiny bit of grace because he just got Mitch back. Just a tiny bit. We still have to remember that this is the first time we're playing together as a team, a whole full, somewhat healthy now team.
Right. Yeah, I ain't even thought about that.
So we gotta make all our adjustments on the fly in game. Because we had our whole team for 3 games before the playoffs started. Like, we got to give him just a tiny bit of grace, just a little bit.
What about the part with Shamit was during that time that you mentioned? When we were all together, Shamit was cooking.
Exactly. And this is why I don't get it. You have shrunk this roster down to nothing against Detroit. Detroit don't have no score. Like, you should put every 3-point shooter you got out there and just let them bomb away. Just let them do it.
Right.
They're gonna foul.
Right. They were in foul trouble early too, by the way.
And they didn't take advantage of that.
And we didn't take advantage of it.
Keep being aggressive. No, we're not hitting shots, but you know what? We can keep them in foul trouble. Keep being aggressive.
Right.
They went away from that. I don't understand. I don't. And the more I think about it, the more I start dissecting the game, the mad I am at it. It's like, I'm going to stop now. Because I gave him a hell of a pass already.
Right. That's what I'm saying. There were a lot of, like, okay, so at the end of the game, I'm not going to front. This is my confession. Hey, Brandon Williams, this is my confession, right? My confession is this. At the end of the game, I felt like we threw away great performances, right? Like, legitimately, Mitchell Robinson had a double-double, right? And at times, he looked great. At times, he looked like he was still getting back into playing shape, right? Tibbs left him out there so he could play
offensive
through
rebounds he had. He was
killing
the ball.
Like seven offensive rebounds? 8 offensive rebounds. 8 offensive rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks, right? My thing is I feel like we wasted the Mitchell Robinson great game in the series. And I also felt like we wasted multiple moments in a losing effort. Like the OG Anunoby 3 on Cade. Y'all remember that?
Yep.
Y'all remember the Mikal Bridges 3 when we were down 5 and they drew up the play and Mikal Bridges had that fadeaway 3 in the corner?
I think I missed that.
The Cat straight on 3 to give us the 1-point lead?
I saw that. Yeah.
We wasted multiple. I'm a little frustrated that we wasted the Mitchell Robinson effort. I ain't gonna lie.
And you said he was gonna play a big game.
Mitch had a good game today.
And you said it too. You said it yesterday.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't feeling it from early. I didn't think we was going away from early today. I was listening to too many podcasts and everybody going crazy. I'm like, oh boy, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
What you trying to say? The fix was in?
No, I just felt like too many people was overly confident. I don't know.
I'm
It just didn't feel
I'm
right.
still overly
What, the
confident.
energy
Me
wasn't
too.
right?
No. I have
I'm
zero
teasing.
qualms about this. We're gonna win the series. I'm not worried about that. But I wasn't feeling it today.
I'm still overconfident. I ain't even go front.
Oh, I am too. I just felt like today it was a lot. I'm like, oh wow. Oh, this how everybody feel? Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Right.
like this
Stephen
how
A.
y'all
Smith
gonna handle us?
screaming on Sports, and I'm like, oh, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
It's a
As soon
wrap.
as he said he was coming to the game, I was like,
I said, oh shit. Oh, sorry.
yo, as soon as I heard that, Tori B, please don't get us back in baby jail.
Yeah, I know, I'm sorry.
Lee, I'm scared of baby jail, bro.
Bro,
Like,
I know I gotta be careful. I got me out here stuttering too, but
me too. I mean, like every time
nah, I'm gonna
bro,
tell
I
you
was so
what killed me,
nervous.
yo. Yo, cat shooting a foul shot, and I'm looking right over his shoulder. And who do I see wearing that black hoodie with that hairline all the way back?
Oh my God, bro. He
And
the
I'm
best.
sitting there, I'm literally sitting there looking at him, and I'm like, man, if this ain't
Yeah.
the man, the pot that called the kettle,
Yeah.
colored.
Let me do this though, because I think we said a lot about I think we said a lot about Tom Thibodeau. Let me say something about Jalen Brunson though. And I know we say this a lot, but I need to add some context to this. Right? Jalen Brunson legitimately is on the verge of becoming a top 10 New York Knicks player of all time. And I know some people already have
Top
him there
five
after 3
NBA
seasons.
player if he keep messing around.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that want to have him there after 3 seasons, right? 3 seasons, 3 playoff runs. Out of respect for Bill Bradley and some others that came before Brunson, I just want to Earl the Pearl and all of them.
Jay the
I
Busher.
just want to keep what I'm saying, respect them, right? The accolades, the long-term legendary accolades for Jalen Brunson soon come. But today you saw a guy that legitimately not only put New York on his chest, but he put New York on his back. Right now, and so with that said, did we win today? No. But if you saw Jalen Brunson today and the past 4 games in this series and don't believe this guy is totally bought in to being a legendary Knick, then you are mistaken, right? One of the things I constantly pick on Jalen Brunson about wearing a size 9.5 starter cap. And maybe he does. Maybe he wears a size 10 just so he can have room, right? But you cannot dispute the toughness that this player has shown in order to get this team and franchise to another level. Coach, what's good, bro?
Not much, man. It was.
What's good?
I just got done crying in the corner.
I was crying in the car.
Nah, coach, no tears, man.
Nah,
No
I know,
tears.
man. It's just a playing with your food situation. I wanted to get this over with so
We
Jalen
all
can
did.
rest up his ankle and all that stuff. But it's just one of them things. It's see, it'd be different. Like in the past, even though we're always optimistic, like those Randall year playoffs, and like, we were just happy to be there and being better than we thought we were. And like this year feels different. Like we actually got the talent. It looks like to actually. Now it's like my confidence isn't just being a Knicks fan and just rooting for my team. Now it's like I really do believe my own optimism for once. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and when they don't step up and fulfill their capability, like what they can do, it's frustrating. because like we've been playing so inconsistent and bad offensively. Like we're lucky it ain't worse. Like we're so good talent wise, our starting five, that we're up 3-2 with our worst stretch of offensive 5 games that I think we've had all year shooting the ball. If you look at it like in that way. So if I want to look at the glass half full, it looks like our defense is, for the most part, we're ready for the playoffs, but our offense is just not consistent enough. Like if we can't have Cat and Jalen have a rough night. No team can really in the playoffs, because they're all playoff teams we're playing against. No team can recover when your 2 best scorers are having a rough night. And it's a shame because you guys probably touched on it earlier. It's like we wasted like that, man. That Mitch had such a good game, that spark off the bench. The other 3 guys in our starting lineup, the 3 wings had a solid offensive night. And our 2 guys that we count on all the time didn't step up this game. So it's like we haven't put a complete game together yet this series, where we got a great bench spark. 1 or 2 of the wings stepped up, and our 2 stars did their thing. Like that's always been my formula. I always talk about, to be a championship level team, and we haven't put that complete effort together yet. Because I think we're playing winning playoff basketball defenses, honestly. Like what we've been doing against Cade. I mean, yeah, he does superstar things in the second half the last couple games. But OG's been making it hell for him. And Bridges and whoever else is on him. But yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
How you feeling, big fella?
I'm all right. I mean, I'm only nervous because of history is not on our side. Like recent history, as far as getting your hopes up, and like
Man, it's Philly off in 6.
yeah, but even with a banged up Embiid, just Philly seemed more dangerous than this Detroit team. We were supposed to win. I mean, I was hoping gentlemen sweep the Sixers last year. Like this series, I felt like we could, talent-wise, we should have swept these dudes.
Yeah.
And now we're messing around and going on the road. Even though we won both games in their house in the Totino's Pizza Rolls Arena.
Yeah, man. In middle school cafeteria pizza arena.
Yeah. Stouffer's French bread pizza center.
Right.
Like, I don't know. One JB's got to have a bounce back game. Hopefully his ankle's better. We haven't seen Brunson go back to back duds before, especially in the playoffs.
Okay.
So we'll chalk it up to that, I guess, and we let one slip away. That's for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Definitely let one slip away.
Oh yeah, sure.
I mean, I'm sorry I wasn't listening to the first part of the broadcast here.
Well, we won't revisit that because that was like an hour worth of stuff. But what we can do what we can do is this.
I don't know how much you touched on Tibs.
Pause. Yeah, no doubt. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
I want to touch him with some.
Yeah. So, but
especially when I saw that post game press conference. I don't know if any of y'all caught that.
Nah.
He said, "Well, it was just a coach's decision. It was just a coach's decision." When they was asking about the timeout, waiting for them to come back in, and them not fouling. Yeah, it was just a coach's decision. He said,
"Hey, Cash, you got some static in your mic, bro. I muted your mic, and we know you here, man. But
I'm going to fix it. Let's see if I can fix it.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So, yeah, Coach, we knew that from the Celtics game. Remember the Celtics game where Jason Tatum hit the game tying 3? Yeah, we knew Tibs wasn't going to use a timeout right there. But here's the question that I have for you though. What do the Knicks have to do in Game 6 in order to avoid the outcome from Game 5?
I mean, I think that we should establish. I think we need to run more offense earlier, like a lot more set plays where we're getting Cat the ball at the top of the key with cutters and guys to like give him a lane to either drive or pop it from there. We need to just I feel like there's a couple of set plays that look like they work, and then it's like we don't go back to them. Like we start off with a game plan, and then we get away from it. And like this game, they took out Cat and Bridges early, and they had that Mitch and Deuce in for a while. And it didn't hurt us. And, it wasn't like we were like gangbusters either. But I don't see any. You can't expect change. Well, you know what they say about the definition of stupidity, is repeating the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So as much as Tibs has had moderate success as far as teams go, his ceiling has only been Eastern Conference Finals with all the teams he's coached. And he's had some talented teams. And he keeps doing the same thing over and over again. And if you can't adapt coming out of halftime in the third quarter over and over and over again, it looked like we didn't even run any sets, any offense or nothing. Went right to some ISOs and missing jump shots again.
Yeah, we already talked, man. We talked about that back and forth, man, for about an hour, man.
Yeah.
So you're saying Game 6 we should do what?
I think we need to put some more effort into our offensive intensity and also offensive aggressiveness. I understand playoff basketball. They say it slows down, blah, blah, blah. But I think even though our pace on average for the year hasn't been that great, but we've always been efficient with our possessions. That's why we're a top 5 offense in the league. So I feel that's our strength. We're playing into each series is different. So we're playing into Detroit's hand if we want to slow it down and grind it out. All that does is help Detroit because they're not as talented as we are explosively, like offensive explosive. Like they have less guys that can get going than we do. I mean, I'd rather get into a track meet with Detroit than grind it out back and forth. That just plays into it keeps them in the game. Like, because if we put up shot, I'm not saying we got to go full on Paul Westfall or Mike D'Antoni offense, where we're jacking it up at 14-second mark every time. But we need to get better shots earlier in the shot clock to me. And then when we have command of the game and we have a lead late, then we can slow it down.
Let me do this because I understand what you're talking about basketball philosophy, right? At the end of the game, at the end of this game that we lost, JB Bickerstaff out coached us, right? And here's why. But here's why though. The Knicks needed a 3-pointer, right, to tie, right? And the Knicks threw a short pass to a guard in order for him to dribble up past half to get a shot off. Instead of the Knicks running a play to throw a long pass out of bounds, throw a long pass inbounds, right? In order for us to get across half, dodge defenders, and get a 3 up. Now, if they foul us in the act of shooting, we get 3 free throws. If we get the 3-pointer up uncontested, we get a good look for 3, right? If we miss, we lost the game anyway, right? But what our coach did was allowed a guard not known for dribbling in traffic the ball and made him dribble 75 feet or attempt to drive 75 feet, right? And Detroit just fouled him. They were like, you ran all this time off the clock anyway. We'll just foul you. You knock down your 2 free throws, and then we'll see from here. And then Deuce goes to the free throw line and breaks the first free throw. So the whole thing was a fiasco. They fouled a guy that they knew wasn't clutch. Why was he even, coach, why did that man even have the ball if his shot wasn't on for the whole game? If Deuce is not known for being clutch, why is the ball in his hands with such and such amount of time on the clock, dribbling the length of the floor to try to get a 3 up?
Because our right personnel wasn't in the game.
These are the reasons why I say Tom Thibodeau deserves a double F- for tonight's game. Nick Yak had a point too. Where is it? Bro, all you had to do was, if you had the time out there, bro, we could have had the ball across half where you could have drew up your best play with 5.5 seconds left on the clock, and we could have got a wide open 3 or got a 3-point look.
You know what? What's the elementary grade for like the bad grade? Like, remember there was S+ and S and
satisfactory,
like N needs improved. Like,
yeah,
because this was elementary school.
Coach,
stuff,
you old, bro. You old. You remember them letter grades?
But I'm just saying, like, this is like, it'd be different if it was something complex he's getting out coached on, or some like crazy drawn up stuff, or a certain scheme that's like new wave something. But bro, we're making mistakes on fundamental, like elementary school stuff, bro.
Yeah.
That's what's the stuff that he's supposed to be. That should be second nature to his old behind.
He's supposed to master. Now, mind you, I'm not kicking Tom Thibodeau's back end for the sake of kicking his back end, right? We're saying we just want to be fair. Like on the days in games 1 and 2, when I was praising Tibs, bro, I was pointing out all the stuff that he did. I felt like he did right. Today, in a closeout game, I just think he fumbled the bag in a closeout game. and it makes me lose trust in him closing out any game for the rest of the series. I think he's got to earn that trust back in a closeout game.
He just needs to burn that notepad he's carrying, bro.
Yeah. In game 6, though, this is what I think we should do in game 6. If Brunson is still hobbled, right? If he's still hobbled in game 6, if Josh Hart is still hobbled in game 6, right? Then I think what we should do is run more off-ball actions for Jalen Brunson. Decoy and spot up relocation shooter, Jalen Brunson, right? Also, I would tinker with OG Anunoby posting up Cade Cunningham in the post, right? Because here's the thing. Cade can do whatever he wants on offense because he don't have to do anything on defense, right? If y'all notice, Detroit makes Cat work on offense and defense. We don't make Cade work on offense and defense. I'm posting up Cade Cunningham in game 6, right? And I'm making him defend the post all game.
What? Why don't we ever, like, is there a rule that the only one that gets picks set on them is the point guard? Like, because, I watch other teams that have ball handlers or guys running the offense at the top of the key, like Jokic. Okay, because, if you want to talk about center's offensive ability, Cat's like almost Jokic level as far as, being able to score. And Cat's actually, he can find people and he passes, is an underrated passer. Like, why don't we ever set picks for Cat? Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, they give the ball to Cat at the top of the key and bring over Josh or OG to set a pick on whoever's defending him. I mean, we, especially in this series, like it'd be different if, Josh or, had to set a pick on Duran or something. That's a tough ask, but OG can set a pick on anybody in the league. He's strong enough. Like, I don't understand why they don't set picks for Cat.
Yeah, can I finish my point about the adjustment for game 6 though? Let me finish this real quick because
that's something I feel we should do though too. But go ahead.
No, I hear you. And listen, I agree. Now, to what extent, I don't know. Like, do you do too much? Do you saturate them with it? Do you sprinkle it in? Do you just show it? To those type things, I just wanted to talk to you after I finish this point though.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why you make run OG in the post on Cade is because for all those shots that we were missing tonight, instead of going into Detroit, taking those same shots and hope that we make them, you create easier looks for these guys in those 90 shots. Because if you're a fan and you honestly believe that we got shots and they didn't go tonight, but we're gonna make them just because of the law of large numbers, I don't want to risk it.
What up, fellas?
Yo, Trey.
What's good, fellas? What's good? What's good?
Just real quick, Dre. Hey, Coach, can you finish? You made a point, man, but you didn't mention to what level you're talking about sprinkling in, or how you're going to use your strategy. Like, what do you mean? Are you just going to come out the gate with this? This is our new look. Detroit Pistons, now adjust your defense, or are you okay? Are you going to sprinkle it in, like run secondary actions off of it, show it so they have more to think about, so the defense can move their feet, or are you just going to show it one time at the beginning of the game and hope they game plan for it, but you don't go back to it?
I mean, I think they should show it just to give Cat that hair of space. Plus, it forces them, because what they've been doing is they've been when they put like uh Tobias Harris on them and Dern's in the game, they have Harris playing man to man and Dern is creeping in the paint.
Zoned up, yeah.
Yeah. So if the man that Dern's responsibility is the one setting the pick, he's got to kind of respect that and maybe bring it closer to gives Cat that extra space to get to the rim. Now, if he sets the pick on whoever Cat has, we've all seen Cat has the ability to pop off that pick and get a free shot off, a jump shot. But I think it would work really well, obviously, when Mitch is in the game, when they're doing the two big lineup. Like have Mitch come over and set a pick on for his man.
Because they were trying to get Mitch to set the screens, but with Mitch that far away from the rim, they don't even consider. Well, never mind.
Yeah,
we lived and died with tough shot making. We lived the game before and we died tonight. And I think part of the issue is our process is terrible. It's been terrible the entire year. We have too much offensive talent to just be scoring 103 points, 94 points. I don't give a damn who's playing defense on us. And every third quarter, we come out slow. We've lost the third quarter in every single game. To me, that screams coaching. To other people, that could mean anything else. Maybe we just can't come out. Maybe we just happen to come out flat. Or maybe the other teams makes an adjustment to what we're doing, and we have no pivot.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of things wrong. And don't get it twisted. We're probably going to win that game on Thursday. But nothing that I've seen in this series spells to me that we can compete with the elite. And that's not what we gave up 5 draft picks for. That's not what we gave up Randall and Dante for. And to me, that says we haven't done a good job utilizing the talents that we do have instead of just using the square peg and a round hole over and over. How many times in this game where we barely get it across half court, we get into our set, there's 5 seconds left on the shot clock, and it turns into an OG and an OB ISO, Josh Hart ISO, Cat ISO, Jalen Brunson ISO. Why do we only have one action out of any of the plays that we run? Why is it that when we come out of halftime, usually you're supposed to dial up a good play, they blow it up immediately because it's just the same shit that we ran in the first half?
Easy, bro. You trying to get us back in baby jail?
Oh, I'm so sorry, man. It's so frustrating.
And here's
yeah,
what I'm
but
saying.
that still don't stop us from going to baby jail.
You're right, Freezy. You absolutely right, Freezy. I'm gonna tell you.
Like we went from, now we got this F1 Formula One car, and we got now. Much love to those you on the road truck drivers out there. You guys are the heartbeat of America. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys are talented. You're dependable. You're good drivers. You're solid drivers. You know,
essential.
You're essential. You're important. However, why are you going to have an F1 Formula One car and have some truck driver drive it? That's what it is right now.
That's a great analogy, Coach.
Having Tom Thibodeau's with coaching his team, bro. I'm telling you, like, he could probably get in it and know some of the gadgets and steer the steering wheel, but he ain't gonna be. He ain't used to having that thing all the way down on the floor, 200 miles an hour to hold it on.
Nah, man, he's not qualified. He's qualified. He's qualified. He's qualified to be an NBA coach. He's a valid NBA coach. But the things that I'm seeing are calling cards for Tom Thibodeau for the last 15 years. And the funny part is, when he left the Wolves, he was doing all types of side jobs. He was going around the organization, seeing how they run things, to only come back and be the same person.
Yeah, that's it, baller. You like,
So,
It,
coach,
it,
you saying we need the Lewis Hamilton of coaches out there?
oh my God.
Yeah, pretty much. I think that's what Dre's saying.
Like it's so frustrating. The get into offense late, that is something that he did on the Wolves. That is something that he did on on the Bulls. That's something that he did before we had Jalen Brunson. That's something that he did when we had Jalen Brunson. Us not having layered offenses, we're having multiple actions. That's something he did on the Wolves, the Bulls, and all three iterations of this Knicks team that we keep giving him. Like being being stuck to one type of defense in the drop coverage and not pivoting away from it. It's something his calling card. Being really bad at rotations and figuring out what rotations can be helpful over the course of a season. That's something he's always been. You're not gonna change someone that is 67 years old.
But what about this playoff series though?
He's been terrible.
Okay.
I'm being so honest. There is no way we should be scoring 94 points on this team, this Pistons team. We
like
scoring,
You
we
wrong
holding
as
them,
hell for
we're
that one,
holding
Dre,
them
but I'm gonna
down.
let you rock.
We're holding them to like they scored 106 tonight.
Yeah.
With the offensive talent that we have, we should not lose anytime we hold a team to 106. Period.
like
That shouldn't be a thing.
exactly. It's like I almost feel like he should just get out the way and
And yes,
let our guys play. Just let them play.
and yes, the players are culpable to this extent. Jalen Brunson was terrible tonight. Cat was terrible for most parts of the game. OG showed up at points, and but it's like, are we doing enough to make their lives easier? Like, are we truly doing enough to have Jalen Brunson get a touch here and there where he's not mauled or smothered? Why am I having to rely on Cat doing spin floaters on the baseline? And he, like, to be absolutely honest, we won the last game scoring only 94 points, and the only reason we got to that 94, Cat made two ridiculous shots. McCall made two ridiculous shots. Brunson made like several ridiculous shots in the fourth quarter. And we needed every last one of those high level of difficulty shots to win. And it shouldn't be that difficult to score on this Pistons team. But when you
Hold
show
on.
them the same look over and over and over, they're gonna key in on it. And tonight, our star players couldn't play at an optimal level. And when you living and dying on tough shots, this is what's gonna happen. And by all means, Brunson never had two bad playoff games in a row. So he might go crazy on these same tough shots and we win. And people are gonna be like, look, yeah, we did it. We beat the Pistons in six. But it's just like, how did we beat them in six? And to me, it screams like it's not gonna be sustainable against the elite playing this brand of basketball on both ends. It's just not. Even at its best, there's a ceiling at this particular style of play. It's just bad basketball, man. We played a lot of bad basketball. But but with all of that, we missed 10 free throws and we lost by three. That to me, that tells me we have so much talent that even with behind the eight ball, even playing unoptimized basketball, we can still win games. So it wouldn't shock me at all. We came out and beat the Pistons on Thursday, but it's just like it's gonna be an ugly game. It's never gonna be a game where, oh, we got hot from three, or we just made a lot of shots and we exploited the defense. It's never that. It's a rock fight, and we got a bunch of players that shouldn't even be in rock fights. We trying to outdo the Pistons. The Pistons have the personnel to play that ugly drag them out rock fight style, and we don't. We shouldn't even be playing like them. We trying to play this one guy, like this dominating basketball style, and the Pistons have to do it by necessity. We don't have to do that by necessity, but Tibbs only has a one, like, you can only win in one paradigm for Tibbs, and it's this particular style of basketball, and that severely handicaps your ceiling.
I'm lost. I heard all of that, and I have no idea what you're talking about.
You know what I'm
Thank
talking
you.
about.
Thank
No,
you.
I don't.
Thank you.
No, I know I
Thank you.
don't. Because we were talking about the series. Like, what adjustments are we gonna make in the series? Like, what are we gonna do? Like,
If you ask Tibs in the post game,
if this is the if this is the regular season conversation where everybody hates Tibbs, then I get it. But if we're talking about what the Knicks have to do in Game 6, I don't know if anything I heard help us in Game 6.
it's not
Like,
because
Dre,
we're
I'm asking
seeing
you,
the same.
what do the Knicks do in Game 6 to turn this thing around, as opposed to just saying Jalen Brunson is going to put his cape on?
Well, number one, the coach himself literally says if we make shots, it means something else. He don't care about the process. So how am I supposed to analyze it when he's bringing regular season process to the postseason? What can we do? We could have more ball movement, more man movement. Have Josh bring the ball up instead of having Brunson struggle through contact every single minute of that second half just to get to his spot. And then when he's fighting through that contact, we're getting into our offense late. We can have run multiple actions. You could actually utilize the pick and roll with Brunson and Cat a lot more because that is a trump card that we never necessarily lean into, even though we're supposed
What does
to.
the Cat and Brunson pick and roll get you?
It gets you an advantage regardless. If they switch, Brunson has somebody that can't guard him on him. If they blitz, Cat is left alone above the break or even in the post. Like there's an advantage creation that's happening when you lean into that.
I
And
need depression food.
we don't
My bad, guys. Sorry.
you good. We don't lean into advantage creation. And we trying to do this mano rock fight thing over and over when we have more talent than the other team. It's just nonsensical basketball. It's caveman
I
basketball.
I was gonna say, I think from what Coach was saying earlier when I was listening to him, as well as you, my man, y'all hit the nail on the head. Mikhail said something too. He said maybe we should come out with the second half doing layup drills or something. He said that in his post game comments. And I'm just gonna go out and say this because you guys the nail on the head, and that comes down to coaching. If it gets to Game 7, and if it gets tight, Tibbs' job might be on the line possibly because it comes down to coaching, calling set plays, having ball movement, rotations, all the things you guys mentioned. That's just basketball, and that goes on the coach, man. Because Brunson was off tonight, but if the ball was moving, getting other people involved, well, there you go. It's going to be an interesting Game 6, and
Yeah.
also you guys was mentioning about the, playing in to Detroit style of game. If the ball is moving and you pushing the pace, in other words, you direct tempo. Don't let them dictate tempo. You dictate tempo. You let them play to you. You are more talented. You are more skilled. Make them play up to you. Don't play down to them. And I think that's part of the problem. I mean, you play your game, man. We know
Yeah.
what our game is. The efficiency, again, you guys touched on. The analytics bear all that out. It ain't rocket. It's not rocket science. It really isn't, and that falls on the coach. Now, if we as fans can see this, and I'm not there, none of us are there at the game. None of us are there on the sideline. We watching from a TV screen. So if we can see this from a TV screen, then come on, man. So I want to see what the how they come out in Game 6, man. Because that's going to tell whether we gonna win this series. If they come out with some passion, some ball movement, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I still
My
have faith in
problem is
my
why we
team,
have to
but
wait to
we'll
Game
see.
6 though.
You're
Can I
right.
say something?
Yeah, man.
That
Go ahead, Lee.
Go
Go
ahead,
ahead, Lee.
man.
Go ahead, Lee.
Yeah. Hey. No. Hey. What's up? DJ.
Cash.
Dre was good. And Coach was popping.
Hey, what's
Hey,
up, man? What's up, brother?
hey, man. Listen, we're 5 free throws and 5 made layups from winning the game. Real talk.
We should
Execution
have
was the
blown them
biggest
out.
thing.
Is my thing.
Hold on a second, Dre. Come on, man. Don't do me like that. I'll let you rock.
My fault. You right, Corey. My fault. My fault.
you know, 5 free throws from, what I'm saying, this. Listen, does Tib, especially in the last part of this game, the way it was executed, does he deserve a lot of that? Hell yeah. Heck yeah, he does. All day, every day. That was I was just poor execution. But also too, the whole entire team. And when I said the entire team, that includes the coach as well as the players. They did not execute at all. And we did play with some sense of urgency, but we didn't play with the sense of urgency.
Lee,
Uh,
Lee,
I'm,
Lee, what didn't they execute? Can you tell me
the,
what they
the,
didn't execute?
yeah, they're foul shots. They didn't the layups, little nice layups, easy layups. You know, they didn't execute the plays. They didn't. You know what I'm saying? They didn't work with each other to some degree to make easier shots for each other when everybody was. I'm just saying, it's everybody. I'm not gonna just blow out somebody back just on what happened at the end of the game. You know, because like I said, 5 foul shots, 5 layups. We'd have won this game. You didn't, so be it. And let's go. Let's move on to game 6.
No, I mean,
I'm a, I'm a,
go ahead,
I'm a
Tori.
little confused about the assessments of these games. Y'all saying they should be playing Nick basketball, they shouldn't be playing Detroit style basketball. That has a lot to do with the officiating of these games. We're not gonna sit back and act like we wasn't watching jail ball for 4 of these 5 games. That's not Nick basketball. They had to adjust and play the game that was given to them at that moment. So how you saying they're not playing Nick basketball when they actually can't because they're getting hammered every single time they go up and down the court? Like I'm just confused. You
Yeah, but
want them
that
to score 100 points and 150 points a game, blow these guys out when they're literally playing a super physical, rough and tumble game going back and forth up and down the court. I'm just confused at the assessment of these basketball games. Like I feel like we watching two different things.
Can I answer that and let other people jump in? Walt
No, you
Frazier.
can answer because I'm this.
Yeah,
No, no, no. Before you answer,
Walt.
wait.
Sorry,
Before you answer, we going back to when Walt was playing, or you gonna say what Walt said?
I'm going to go back to something that Walt Frazier said
No, no,
during
no.
during the
Go ahead.
during the telecast. He
Uh
said
huh.
against physical and over aggression play, the ball has to move because guys are going to overcommit, so on and so forth, which is going to cause them fouls. Again, going back to what I said about dictating pace. So if the ball is moving and they want to be rough and tough, they can't. The ball can move faster than they can be rough and tough. I mean, Clyde said
Did
it.
we watch the same games? I just want to know.
Well,
yeah.
The
Oh,
Knicks
okay.
haven't the
I
Knicks
just want to
haven't
know.
done
I
that.
just want to know.
Yeah, but the Knicks
I'm
haven't
gonna
done
tell you
that.
what I saw once I get
I,
my turn again.
Hold on, Coach. Wait a minute.
I'm still confused. Like you saying move the basketball, right? I watched the same exact games that you were watching. If you spending 15 seconds of your 24-second shot clock getting beat up and pushed and the ball getting smacked at and they're not blowing the whistle, how much movement are you gonna get? Like I know that y'all was watching the same game I was watching. Like those the assessments of what's going on in this series is just not accurate from you guys.
Yeah.
It's what
Well,
you wanted to see. It's
Hey,
not what's
Latoria,
actually playing out.
Latoria, they
Hey,
don't
hold
run
on,
No,
hold on,
Josh
Lee.
preach.
Hart,
Let her
right?
Hey,
go.
hold on,
Let her
Lee.
No,
go.
I'm not. That's just crap. Like y'all watching the same games that I'm watching. I'm not saying things can't be executed a little bit better, but these were really super physical games that we have not played like at all this season.
And
There
that's
hasn't
directly
been a
to
game
Cash.
like that. There hasn't been any. You don't watch basketball and see what went on in these 4 games at all. You don't tune in and watch stuff like these games are not like this all year. So we get to the playoffs, they have to adjust. And now y'all saying that they not playing the basketball. That's just bogus.
All right, go ahead, Cash.
Again, I mean, the ball. If the ball is moving, I understand the physicality. But if there's set plays, and if those set plays are executed where the ball is moving and there's proper spacing, it overcomes the physicality. You can't, in other words, if you go into the mindset of, oh man, they're gonna try and beat me up or whatever, and I'm gonna look to the refs to call the foul. When we look to, I mean, in terms of the game, as you made reference to, how many times have Brunson or whoever shoots the ball, and obviously they were fouled, but then they turn around complaining to the refs. In the meantime, Detroit got the ball and taking off going the other way.
In this series, probably this past game, game 5, and maybe a little bit in game 2. Games 1, game 3, and game 4, they didn't do that.
I just want to
They
say
maybe
this.
gave him a little. They may have given him a little look and ran up the court, but they wasn't complaining to the officials. Again, I keep saying we can't be watching the same games. We can't be,
Yeah, that
because
was. I
they
don't
did
know
that
what. How was
all.
that
They
relevant
did that
though?
all season, and they really haven't done that at all in a play, with the exception of game 2. They did that a lot in game 2 and today. They were
Yeah,
complaining a lot today, but other than that, they haven't complained. They've
right.
been getting beat up, and they've been doing their fair share of beating
But
people
Tori
up.
B, where is this even relevant though? Why is the complaint about? Why is that even relevant to the
I
offense?
don't think it's relevant. I don't think it's relevant to the offense either. I don't agree. We could agree to disagree. I don't agree with their assessment of how these games are being played. Like, their complaints about how the basketball game is being played are not relevant in this series, because we've not seen officiating like this, and we haven't seen this kind of physicality. So it's easy for us to sit back and go, "You got to pass the ball. You got to pass the ball. You got to pass the ball." They just trying to adjust to that elbow to the throat they just got.
Yeah, but
It's just
I'm
it's
not
a
referring to our offense when we're having a tough drive to the lane or a contested shot or someone's getting double teamed or anything like that. I'm referring to the open looks that we miss that has nothing to do with
in today's
physicality.
game. Yes, I
Not
agree. That's
not
why
in
we
just
lost
today's
today's
game,
game.
in every game.
So whose fault is that? Is that Tibs' fault because they're missing?
That's where I'm agreeing with you. That has
Yes.
nothing to do with Tibbs.
So okay,
No.
so I didn't know Tibs
Them,
was
I'm
out there shooting
sorry,
them jump
Freezy.
shots
Yeah.
either.
That's where we agree to
Dre Lee,
disagree.
Trey,
Because
can you save us from this point?
no,
We got to talk some basketball, because what
I
y'all
am
saying.
talking back.
No, you not. That's
But you
ridiculous.
can't just.
What you
Freezy,
saying is ridiculous.
You think there's a
What you saying is
scheme
ridiculous.
answer for everything?
No,
There
I
isn't.
don't. No, I don't.
Sometimes
No, I
professional
don't.
basketball
No, I
players.
don't. That's a lie.
That's
gotta
what you do
apologize
when
to
you
Freezy.
feel like you want to
No,
move the
no, I don't.
goalposts.
I'm
when
right
I'm
here.
trying
I
to
can
make a
talk to
point.
myself.
Okay,
If
I'm
you
talking
wanna
for
know my
myself.
answer, you can listen to my answer.
I just waited for everyone to get done so I can say something,
You
and
just know what you
you
just
just
did
cut
is
off
put
my
words in my
cut
mouth.
off my spot in 30
No, you
seconds
just put
in.
words in my mouth. You just said that I think this scheme is the answer to everything. Right? That's what you just said. I'm right here. I heard you.
I know, because that's what you just said. I'm trying to say sometimes I couldn't get the whole sentence out because you cut me off. First of all,
Because you
Second
put
of
words
all-
in my mouth.
Okay, I'm sorry if you feel like I did that. I didn't mean to.
No, I didn't feel
Anyway.
you did it. You did it.
I missed it. I must have missed it. I'll try to watch back and see when I did it. But what I'm trying to say is sometimes professionals, scheme or not, need to make shots when they're in the NBA's terms open. And sometimes there's no scheme about it. Is what I'm trying to say. That's what I
I
agree
mean,
with
coach,
Corey Lee
nobody
about.
shoots 100%.
And
I know
and
no one shoots 100%,
So
but the New York
everybody knows
Knicks.
they need to make their shots and knock down
What
their
I'm
shots, but
saying
it
is
doesn't
the New
happen
York
every night.
Knicks don't normally only shoot 43%.
Right, but they don't normally shoot 60% every game.
I'm not saying
Like,
shoot 60%.
at some point you got to give guys a little bit of grace when they miss
I'm
a shot.
talking
If they go 3 or 4 of
5 games of grace. No,
but this is
there,
not.
but there's a go ahead. I'm sorry, Freezy.
we haven't gone 5 games.
Sorry, B, I'm trying to tell Coach, but Coach ain't gonna listen to us because he felt like he's right on this.
Every time I say this point, everyone wants to talk around it. We haven't shot this bad a percentage 5 games in a row, regardless of who we're playing.
Because they play defense too, Coach.
See, the thing is, Tori. So Tori B, I feel like that you were absolutely right about the physicality point, right? The thing is this in the playoffs, when you ratchet up the physicality and the energy that these players have to burn, you can't look at the number of minutes that they played and assume that just because they played 38 minutes in the playoffs, that it equates to 38 minutes in the regular season against the Washington Wizards. It's not, right? These are high leverage minutes that take a lot of energy. So when these guys are missing these open shots, right? We're just like, oh, they're professional. They're supposed to make these shots when they're tired. They're pros. Nah, bro, when you burning their legs out like this, and then they take jumpers, bro, anybody that has shot a jumper know that you need to have your legs in your jumper.
Exactly. Didn't we touch on this earlier?
Right. And this is what I've been trying to tell Coach and others. Like, you can't expect these guys to run through a brick wall on defense on every possession and then come down and then look like Ray Allen on offense. Is not going to happen. And whose fault is that? Is that the player's fault? Nah, the players play. It's the coach's fault. The coach has got to figure out a way to get more players involved so you won't have as many of these high leverage minutes on these guys, right? Because think about this. How do you expect we should have known that Jalen Brunson was headed for a game like this because he had the ankle injury first, right? And then he's playing these high leverage minutes, and to think that Jalen Brunson is not going to come out here with a clunker, that's unfathomable. The Jalen Brunson had a clunker in the Philly series last year, and Dante DiVincenzo bailed him out, but we forget about that.
Yep, that's why we need other players to step up.
When I say what I say, I'm not just referring to OG and Mikhail. There's Deuce, there's Cam, there's Josh, there's all these other guys that are missing these shots.
Agreed.
Particularly Deuce.
Yep.
Yeah, Deuce is having a stinker.
I understand. Like, I don't expect OG and Mikhail to do what they do and then be Steph Curry on the offense. You know what I'm saying? I'm not expecting them to bang everything. But we've seen, this is why, like I said, it's not like we need Josh, OG, and Mikhail all to be on there. Just one of them need to be making them once in a while and not wait to the end to do it. Like, when that happens, we're a better team. And when someone off the bench does it, we're even better.
Thank you for clarifying, bro. Because you had me you had me in a way, bro, before you clarified.
No,
bro.
of course. I mean, obviously, like, we've been spoiled, though, some games where we've seen OG and Mikhail go off for 20 for a few games. So, like, it's like something that you know what's in their bag. But at the same time, like you said, they're not defending Cade Cunningham every game either, you know? So I get it. Depending on their defensive assignment, they're not going to have as much offensive, explosion. But like you said with the whole Dante thing, when we got a man down, when guys are having a rough night, others have to step up.
Right.
And we haven't had that. I mean, we had the luxury of Mitch being a spark off the bench tonight, like offensively. Like, he was getting putbacks and dunk backs. I mean, he was line driving some free throws, but besides that, I mean, yeah, I'm just saying. But in the end, I get it. It's a lot of things like we say when we watch the game. they're playing Jalen Brunson 90 feet. Josh Hart or Mikal Bridges need to come to half court or the back court and ask for that pass.
But Dre,
Coach.
is that Jalen Brunson's fault?
No, that's coaching. Number one, Freezy.
Uh,
The last time Brunson we played, Brunson had the ankle issue, and were letting other players bring the ball up because he was hurt. Remember? And you notice they don't guard Josh Hart, so there's oftentimes Josh Hart can bring the ball up and we can get into a set or get into an action without
Right.
ball pressure. But when Tibs sees that Brunson is healthy, he's just like, "Hey, Brunson, bring the ball up." You do it every single time. You have
Yep.
to emphasize it as a unit to play as a unit. But oftentimes it breaks down into your turn, my turn basketball. And that is an outdated style of basketball or outdated logic. You can't just be like, "Hey, you're just because you're the best player on our team, you have to figure it out every single time. And if you don't, we're gonna lose." You have We've made considerable investments to put this roster together. Utilize the pieces that you do have, please, for the love of God. Like we're making things way more complicated than what it needs to be.
Than what it needs to be.
Agreed.
I agree.
But
Like
like,
I agree with you.
what I
it's
I
like,
said,
think that's
yo,
the one thing we all agree on.
it's
yeah.
like, yo, if Brunson can't get the ball and cross over a dude 8 times to get his shot, then we don't get no offense. Then what are we investing all of this? What are we investing all these resources into?
Like,
What are we extending Josh Hart and sending out money to pay Cat a max contract and giving 5 picks from McCall if you're not going to use their skill sets?
Right.
right. And the
And I
thing is,
genuinely, one last thing, I genuinely believe McCall does not like Tom Thibodeau at all. If you've noticed down like all these post game press conferences, he's made like these snide remarks. I don't think he likes him, and not that McCall is a perfect player. He's not.
man, why are you
He's
digging that
screwed
up
up a
right now,
lot.
though?
He's screwed up a
That's not
lot.
somebody an issue.
Say that
well,
again,
I
Corey.
mean, come on, man. No,
Corey
now
not
come
here
on.
for
That
it.
last part, you could have saved everything. You had everything right up until that part right there.
I'm not lying though. I don't think he likes him at
Nah, but you
all.
making that an issue, and now you creating another.
Hey
Come
Corey,
on, man.
when
Narrative.
I'll
Now,
say
come
this,
on now.
Corey, when we on here,
It's
No,
again,
okay,
bro.
Corey. We not
No, the
national
coaching part
media.
is
They not
cool.
gonna
Yo,
pick this
you
up.
was on. Yo, I was with you all the way up until that
nah,
part right there.
Corey, I'll say this. God
All right, no,
forbid
go
we
ahead, man. Go
God
ahead with
forbid
the.
we
Go
don't
ahead. Go ahead.
lose. I hope we don't lose. I hope we win a championship. But you know, when that season is over, there's gonna be a kick in the back article in the post where XY, oh, this player didn't get along with so and so and so. You know it's coming.
Yo, you know what? I could have grabbed that apple
See,
from the
because that
same
happens,
spot you
it
did
happens
before
every year.
too. That's low hanging fruit.
It happens every year, but
Yeah, it
there's
happens
actually
every
going
year.
to be something that happens this year. Like someone's going to go. Like McCall might go,
but,
Tiz might go. Something is going to actually happen.
but,
That's my whole thing.
I doubt
here's
that
the
because
thing
of the
about,
I don't
investment.
want to put the cart before the horse. I think
Yeah, thank
that's
you.
at end of the
all right,
season talk.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
ain't now talk.
yeah.
we
We
talking about
trying to
game
get
6.
out this Detroit series.
Yeah.
Thank
All right,
you.
so back to that.
Nah,
Like,
I want to answer to that though.
well, I was
Listen,
already about to say something, but
go
go
ahead,
ahead.
bro. Go ahead, man. Yeah, y'all got it.
We can circle back, Core.
What he
Or
wants to
not. Go
dress
ahead,
for the.
coach.
All right, whatever. So, like, the reason why we got these guys that we got for Brunson, it's supposed to make Brunson's job easier, not make it harder on him. Like, it's not like we're asking them to be 20-point scorers. Like, they just have to be the threat and good enough to where they can ease off Brunson. And then now, in this point, we have Cat too. That's why we're always yelling at the screen at Josh. Shoot the ball, Josh. Drive to the lane, Josh. Don't like he has to be a willing shooter. We got to have 5 guys on the court that are a threat. That's what will make the other team only put one man on Brunson. And that's when Brunson's job becomes easier.
Now, can I say this?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Lee. I've been waiting for
Now, can
you.
I say this? I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm not putting this on no individual, but seems though we do have Captain Clutch. Captain Clutch also knows he has to realize when he doesn't really have it and take the ball out of his hands and make his teammates better. find and create ways to make his teammates better. Just like they got to figure out how to make each other better. It's a whole concerted team effort. We have to think a step ahead. Um, the coach, you know what I'm saying? Like I said earlier, coach should have executed a couple of little things better. But a lot of this I put, what I'm saying, the players, not necessarily the effort, just the lack of execution and finishing. That's all. At the basket, the goal, free throws, even on defense to some degree,
Hey Lee, you said that
and not
already.
paying attention.
You already said that already. But what do you mean? You got to tell us in depth what you're talking about.
As far as
You
the
got to expound on your point because we already heard it twice.
you
Like,
know
like, what's the gist of it?
the gist of it is this: like, there's no way that we should be missing, like I said, missing the layups, or not even, what I'm saying, giving the ball up a little bit quicker and understanding each other basically on the court. You know, and knowing, having a feel for each other because we play with each other long enough. Um, One more thing I will put on the coach though is maybe extending certain minutes a little bit longer, and maybe you're right to some degree, not allowing certain players to get on the court, but still, like I said, execution.
So, you guys feel like, and I know the competition was different, and I know it wasn't as intense, but remember, like, there was times in that first part of the year, like it just seemed like the offense was cooking, but the defense was still waiting to catch up, And I almost feel like, I mean, I don't know, this might be a conspiracy or whatever, but I almost feel like during that first part of the season, um, Tibbs is trying to ingrain his defensive philosophy with this team that whole time, that like he was just letting the offense go. But then like once they started getting the defense down, then he like in the second half of the year, he started meddling and paying attention to the offense more and started controlling that more too. And like if you notice the second half of the year, our offense took a really big nosedive. And I don't know, it's like I feel like it hasn't recovered since then. You would think our defense got better, but our offense got worse. Like why?
Um, I can pinpoint an exact time that it happened. Uh, Shortly after January 1st, when we played OKC, and
Mhm.
OKC made a concerted effort. We played against the teams that just play playoff defense,
Yeah.
essentially, and they basically highlighted our flaws in terms of our offensive process.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of like cheat off of Josh Hart. We aren't going to necessarily have very many layered options or actions. And if you run us off that corner 3 point line and make it Brunson score against a loaded up defense, you have a chance. And some nights Brunson is absolutely a top 5 offensive player. And some nights that doesn't work. But in the playoffs, over and over, there's going to be nights where he just doesn't have it. And tonight was one of those nights, and that team skated by with a lot of other errors that we had. But in terms of like the offense, it was the process is completely the same as it was when it started in the beginning of the season. The only difference is Josh Hart had more confidence in his jumper, and then his jumper completely disappeared. And it doesn't even matter if Josh had his confidence in his jumper coming into the postseason because they would guard him the same way. Like Josh could be 5 for 5 from three, and they're gonna put a big on him anyway. Because the other 85 possessions of the game, it benefits the team that he's playing against to just load up the paint, pack the paint, make it hard on Brunson and Cat. Because we're not gonna do anything particularly creative with the talent that we do have. So it was around January 2nd when we played OKC. After that point, it's like a line of demarcation. After that point, teams, even lottery teams, decided, hey, let's just put a big on Josh Hart and live with the results. And Tibbs hasn't made a single adjustment since then. His adjustment is put Josh Hart into action, which is the same crap we've been running since last year,
Right.
but with better talent on the team.
And it also doesn't help that we literally have zero offensive spark off the bench at
Dude,
all.
Deuce is such a disappointment. We were coming into the season
That's my
talking
guy
about
too.
maybe we were coming into the season as a fan base in general, maybe not you, Freezy, or coach, but like he was up there in Lauder. I mean, he was up there in Vegas odds to be sixth man of the year. I don't know if y'all recall that. Like we were like, oh, people were having actual genuine discussions like who's better, Peyton Pritchard or Deuce. And this man had just had a stinker all year.
Hey, let me get back to your point about the OKC thing.
Yeah, Freezy.
So what were the other defensive things that you saw OKC did that exposed the Knicks offense?
Number one, a lot of ball pressure. Get us into our sets late because we aren't going to do anything pretty dynamic. You're going to get one action, and if that breaks down, it's an isolation with 5 seconds left on the shot clock. So press us.
So what are you saying then? Are you saying that the Knicks don't have enough ball handlers?
I'm saying you don't necessarily need to have enough ball handlers because number one, Josh is being covered by a center, and a center is not going to come all the way down and press him 94 feet. So just let Josh bring the ball up.
Are you talking about? Yeah, we're talking about in the half court though.
In the half court.
Yeah.
Like, are you asking me what adjustment can we make or what adjustment teams?
Because the answer to what you just said, so what you said is perfect, right? In my mind, about how the Knicks offense was exposed. It's because defenses pressure on the high side and recover to the weak side. Because, in order to get to the weak side, you have to throw a long pass. And what teams do is try to meet the man and the ball at the same time on the weak side if the ball makes it over there. Yeah. So pressure up on the high side, right? And what I found, and I'm not saying that Mikal Bridges is not a decent ball handler, because he proved when Jalen Brunson was out that he can be more than a capable ball handler, right? But in the half court, what we noticed is, and coach was there. Coach would be a witness. Coach, how many times did I say tonight on playback TV, why is Mitchell Robinson out 40 feet away from the rim? Remember that?
Yep.
Setting a screen so the Knicks offense can get into gear 35, 40 feet away from the rim. But the thing is do we have an answer for that? Is it not, say, schematic? Is it another player just taking control of parts that he can take control of? Like when we saw OG and what OG Anunoby did when Brunson was out. Yeah, remember how aggressive OG was going to the rim when Brunson was out?
Yeah.
Well,
we dialed up all the RJ Barrett plays for him.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like that's why when we were yelling at the screen about Josh going all the way to the rim,
right?
Because even though it doesn't feel like we do it that much, and that's technically not our offense, I feel like we're better when we play downhill. Like when we get the offense going earlier, and the way we do that is get Brunson out of the backcourt sooner by making yourself available as a secondary inbounds person, besides Brunson all the time.
I absolutely agree. Sometimes when you see teams around the league, even if their star player is a point guard, sometimes even when they're inbounding the ball, like you see SGA is their point guard. Yeah. SGA will be on the other side of the half court waiting for the ball to be brung up by Lou Dort or something. Because teams are not going to press up on Lou Dort in the second quarter of the game. They're going to press up on your superstar player to tire him out because it's a boxing match at that point.
Yeah.
But we keep we keep having Brunson bring the ball up 98% of the game, and then somehow he needs to have
I'm not
all
gonna
his
say he
shots
did
down.
that though, Dre. He didn't really do that, bro. Not this
The
game.
last game he didn't do that because you know why? He was
It
hurt.
was a no. This game right here, it was a mix, and because I seen Josh Hart, we just like a lot. There was a lot of times Josh Hart as well as OG and Bridges had shots, and Cat as well. All of them had good shots at the baskets. I mean, close shots. They just missed them, bro. They literally like missed them or did not get the call. And then when we got the call, we didn't knock down the foul. I know I'm saying the same thing, but it's repetitive, and I'm getting to a point because the energy was there to some degree. You know what I'm saying? We played hard. There was no question about that. You know, and and the fact that you know these cats didn't do that. That's what kind of really just. I honestly just I can't get over that point. That's the point that I feel like and executing the plays wise. Yes, I think we were a little too up tempo. We were a little too fast to some degree, and not more selective and as well as you know utilizing the best proper shot. We were trying to make a play too quick. You know what I'm saying? Like we turned the ball over tremendously. You know what
Lee,
I'm
is
saying?
that a confidence issue?
No, I think that was like we were over we were trying to do it too much. Like we forced the issue instead of like in the last two games we allowed them to make their mistakes and we capitalized on them. We created our own mistakes and put it in our and made it harder for us because we got to the point where we tied the game up like two or three times in that fourth quarter and we didn't get a stop or at least two key stops and then get a good shot. You know what I'm saying? Or execute correctly to the basket, or we didn't secure a rebound. We didn't box out. We didn't get out there fast enough. And to some degree, I think that was on Tibbs because of the way he's been handling the rotation. Maybe certain players were tired at those certain situations. So with that said, yeah, okay, I get you. And also too, um, I think the slot shot selection that we took to some degree as well as like the threes and outside jumpers where we could have attacked more, try to create some fouls, but
See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I was asking you to do about 20 minutes ago when I asked you to elaborate. You
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah. I had to
you
get my
just use
thoughts
the term
together, and I apologize.
and see when you use the term shot selection, just because you get 90 shots, don't mean all NBA shots are the same.
Exactly.
Some guys got to have shots in rhythm. Like if guys come up and down the floor 3 or 4 times and don't touch the basketball, and then you kick it to them and they miss, they might not have been in rhythm, right? Some of them have hot spots on the floor where that's their shot. Like OG and Anunoby on your television screen when you watch the game in that top corner, that's OG spot, right? Like going left to right, that top corner, the top right corner, that's OG spot.
Exactly.
When you kick it out to him, right? Bridges around the painted area, not in the paint, but around the painted area. Bridges hunts for that all game. And when he doesn't get it, and then you finally give it to him and he missed, like, hey, dog, I know you ain't touched the ball in 13 minutes, man, but you got to make those.
That's tough. That's tough. I know. That's tough. But then also, too, it starts with the person who's distributing the basketball,
Cameron Payne.
No, I ain't putting it on Cameron Payne. It starts with the captain because the captain leads the way, period. He sets the tone. He's the tone setter. No matter what happens, no matter how his game input goes. Because at the end of the day, because he is Captain Clutch, it doesn't matter because if he'd have just hit a three and we'd have won by one, he'd still be considered Captain Clutch. So
Yeah.
his effect needs to be different than everybody else's. I understand, we were so used to him putting up so many points per game, and this is no slight to him because I do appreciate it when he can knock him down and he is hot. I really do. So, it's just him recognizing himself and other players as well. Trying to find ways to make themselves more effective. You know what I'm saying? In them lapses that we're not really playing the best basketball.
Yeah, I feel you. So in these last so I want to thank everybody for watching. If you have not done so, please subscribe to the channel, smash that like button. So my thing was I'm supposed to say that about every 20 minutes, but sometimes the conversation gets so intense I forget. Right. But what I will say to y'all is this: the sum of all of my fears, right? This is the sum of all of my fears. Coach, you probably gonna have to talk me off the ledge. And I know Dre is gonna talk me off the ledge. I know this. But the sum of all my fears is that we lose to Detroit, the series, and Detroit, the same Detroit team, plays an injured Celtics team and win and makes it to the Eastern Conference Finals and puts up a fight against Cleveland, right? And Cleveland wins and goes to the finals and loses to OKC, right? That's the sum of all my fears. You know why that is? Dre knows why.
Experience and confidence, they're gonna have experience and confidence, and they'll be back as a real threat next year.
And they would have taken the Knicks path to the championship.
Yeah, like the Heat did.
Like the Heat did. Yep, like the Heat did. Like the Hawks
won
did
that
the year they went to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh, there's only one.
I highly doubt that. I'm totally against that. I'm not even gonna allow that to sit in the air like that.
There's only one real constant.
I want you to do me a favor. Do me a favor and never repeat that again. Don't
Right,
even
I
put
know.
that in the air.
Thank you.
Never repeat that again.
Thank you, Tori.
Lee, let me borrow your light. I'm gonna go ahead and smoke a Newport. I don't even smoke.
Yeah, we gonna burn.
Yo, I'm
that.
gonna burn some incense for you too. Yo, man. Hey, I got my tarot card. Yo, her number is directly coming to hit you right now. For real, man. Hey, I'm gonna find Miss Cleo, will dig her up and tell her to tell you this ain't happening.
My goodness.
You need to go to Vegas and bet that's gonna happen. So
but yeah, so if it does happen, we'll be rich, right? We'll be in a live studio if that happens. But the reason why I prefaced it the way I did, I said that is the sum of all of my fears, right? I didn't say this was going to happen or I wanted it to happen, right? I'm
Hopefully
saying,
not like the movie.
Yeah, well, with the movie, yeah, not like the movie either, right? But we've seen over the past couple years where, like the year we lost to Miami. Y'all remember the year we lost to Miami, where we lost in 6 games, but Emmanuel quickly got hurt in Game 4, and then tried to play through Game 5 and missed Game 6. And the reason why we lost Game 6 is because we needed a ball handler. Y'all remember that?
Of course.
You remember Miami with Jalen Brunson turned the ball over? If Emmanuel quickly is there, I don't think Josh Hart is in that play. On that play when we need a bucket, I think Emmanuel quickly is on the floor. I think we win and advance, right? Because we had Miami on the ropes several times in that series, right? Last year against Indiana, I still think we were up 2-0, right? People bring up the injuries, right? People brought up, Uncle Freezy, we were injured so much last year that, the Indiana said, nah, even with all those injuries, we were still up 2-0 against Indiana. Y'all remember that, right? Remember the dude
if Nembhard didn't hit that 3, we would have been up.
We would have been in the Eastern Conference Finals. Right. And so that's what I'm saying. So we're basically, what I'm saying is we're close, very close, right, to being an elite NBA team. Very close. We're circumstances away from being an elite NBA franchise right now. But the sum of all of my fears is that if we take this step backwards, if we don't close out Detroit, if we don't play step up, because think about this. The physicality that we face against Detroit, that ain't nothing new. 2 years ago, we were in a series with Miami. Anybody remember Gabe Vincent elbowing Jalen Brunson in the mouth on
Miami
a three-pointer?
was not even playing basketball for real.
Right. Yeah.
And them Adebayo screens, they wasn't screens. That was playing football.
Yeah, remember Bam Adebayo dove on Emmanuel quickly ankle. That's how come he was out for Game 6. He dove on Josh Hart's ankle.
And Julius Randle.
Too. Yeah, he elbowed Julius Randle in the eye. Remember, Julius Randle was at the free throw line shooting free throws with his eye watering.
Yep.
So the
Yep.
physicality thing, I get it. I just want everybody to appreciate the fact that in playoff basketball, we're gonna have these physical type moments or whatever. The thing is, the reason why, in my opinion, why we never get over the hump is because we're always in a energy deficit, right? In some type of energy deficit where we don't have legs at the end of games for jump shots, or somebody is out injured or something like that. I'm not asking Tom Thibodeau to play 14 people, right? But I am asking, when Cat is tired, is in foul trouble, and Mitch gets in foul trouble, can we at least let Precious take his warm up off? You know what I'm saying? Like Precious don't have to come in there.
You legit right there.
Right? Like Precious don't have to come in and say, Lee, does Precious have to come in and save the day? Nah. Precious gets his few trips up and down the floor, and then he go back and put his warm up back on. Everybody
physical.
It's called situational substitution.
Right.
And,
And as physical as
happening.
this series has been, you would have thought he would have put those guys out there just because they 6 fouls. Like, just put them out there.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Cash, let me say this. I ain't gonna cut
put 'em
nobody
out
off.
there.
I just want to say this. Tonight, I feel like a few of y'all been cooking. When Corey Lee brought up shot selection, I thought Corey Lee was cooking. Just now, when Tori was saying bro, I feel like y'all cooking, man. You know what I'm saying? I honestly enjoy when the conversations go this way. When we look at complicated stuff and break that joint down and start talking about, that's where I feel like y'all getting y'all bag. I be enjoying that. Personally, I hit the like button 4 times already, and I know you take likes on and off when you do it. I was just in the moment, man. Y'all don't judge me.
Do you feel like we're playing faster or slower in the regular season in this pace?
Slower.
Yeah,
I'm not
slower.
gonna lie to you. Against good defenses, we play the same way.
All right, so I you know me, I like looking at some of them advanced stats sometimes.
If you look up our numbers against top 10 defenses, we go from an elite offense to a bad one, or an average one.
I'm saying everyone thinks this series is so slow and so physical and methodical, and we're actually, it's in groups because us and Detroit are gonna have the same pace because we're playing each other. So the OKC Memphis series had the fastest pace, 102.6. Then Indiana Milwaukee was 97.4. And then us and Detroit's the third fastest pace at 97. Then below us, everything's 92 and below all the other series.
That's because, Coach, that's because in the regular season, the Pistons were the 6th highest paced team, and we were 27th.
But
so
here's
we're
caveat.
playing to their strengths.
No, actually, we were 97 all season, so we're playing the same pace. Detroit used to be 100 point whatever in the regular season, and they're down to 97.
Yeah, but it's still high compared to typical playoff basketball.
Yeah, either way, yeah, we get your. I get your point though. I get your point. I ain't gonna lie. I watched other Knicks content creators tonight, and nobody out there was talking about bench extension. Nobody was talking about shot selection. Everybody was talking about just that they were basically sleeping on top of the covers. Lee, you know how I be get frustrated with everybody about sleeping on top of the covers? Like they'll say something like, "We need to be better," and I'm like, "We need to be. Of course, we need to be better, but how? Like how do we get better?
We need stops. We need stops.
I can answer that for you, Freezy. And I've heard it said tonight too. Emotions, man. People are in their emotions, so they're talking off their emotions as opposed to their intellect, and that's a huge difference.
Great point, bro. I appreciate that. Yeah, man. I appreciate that. So yeah, man. In a game 6 scenario, bro. In the game 6 scenario, at this point, JB Bickerstaff already know what the Knicks want to do. Tom Thibodeau already knows what JB Bickerstaff wants to do. We have played them more times this year in the playoffs than we played them in the regular season. Right? We're on the verge of playing this one team 10 times. Right? We already know who they are. They already know who we are. Right? At this point, instead of looking for Neo to come save us from the Matrix, right? I think what we need to do is understand that we have more tricks in our bag than they have tricks in their bag, right? Because the Pistons want an emotional game on the road to stave off elimination. You know their emotions are high, and yours would be too. Think about it. If you had your bags packed for either Detroit or Cancun, right? Detroit or Cancun, and you went out and you beat a higher seed so that you can go back home
in their house.
The elimination game, your emotions would be sky high because you're still alive. Right? Because think about this. If the Knicks had won, the Detroit Pistons would be making vacation plans right now. Right? But the mere fact that they get to go back home for game 6, you already know what it's going to be like when we get there for their game 6. It's going to game 6 at their place. It's going to be a buzzsaw.
Yeah,
right?
we got to go back to Zenobia's, man.
Yeah. Tony's Pizzeria.
Oh,
Jaylen Brown's resting extra
By the way,
days.
just for the chat, that's a nice spot in Detroit. On if you've ever seen Uptown Saturday Night, then you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Check it out. So yeah, it's back to Zenobia's.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Coach
now, instead of Brunson and Hart and OG all resting their boo-boos, like Boston took care of their business tonight. And now Jaylen Brown gets to heal up. Tatum was banged up. And all them guys. And we didn't take care of business like we were supposed to. So now we're not.
There's some context to that too, though, Coach.
Yeah.
I refuse to look ahead.
By the way, Orlando plays just as probably even more physical than the Pistons do, which is why they were banged up in the first place.
And the context is Orlando was the 4 seed until injury set in on them, and they basically dropped in the standings to the 7 seed and held on.
They still have those injuries, so they're still not a really good team.
Yeah,
the injuries still took out those guys. Their injuries didn't bring those guys back, so they're still not a good team.
In theory,
their physicality wears on you, and they took care of business. So we can't talk about physicality. They won their series in 5 despite the physicality. So we can't talk about that's not a good enough excuse.
But the context to it too is the Boston Celtics are the reigning NBA champs, and in most years, their win total has them being the number 1 seed in most years. The Cleveland Cavaliers had a historic season this year to be the number 1 seed, but even with that, you still have to give Boston credit for being a champ. And I'm not discounting Coach's point because basically what Coach is saying is even if we win this series, Boston's going to be rested.
Yeah,
and so his point is duly noted.
They missed a couple, like Tatum missed games. Drew Holiday missed some games.
Like 3 games out of it. He missed 3 games out of that series, right?
Al Horford missed 1 too, I believe.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's important to move on. I want to win no matter what anyway.
But you want to get out of there
we want to get out as early so we can get some extra couple of days of rest, bro.
But
I was saying that before this game.
Even if we win Thursday.
Yeah, I know.
Even if we win Thursday, we're going to see them on Sunday.
Yep.
Nah, man. I'm not. I rebuke that statement, man. Yo, man, why you got to put that energy out there, bro?
What energy? Like if we win on Thursday, we're gonna see them on Sunday. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
that's how they schedule it.
Yeah.
Oh, if we go to my Boston. My bad. I apologize. I thought you were talking about. I thought we gonna lose on Sunday and see them again.
No.
I apologize.
Oh, I don't. You meant see Pistons on.
I think we're gonna beat the Pistons on Thursday. I think we're gonna do it. I think we should do it. And typically, this team usually bounces back with When they go through like any sort of
Serious disappointing loss.
Adversity.
yeah adversity, that's what I was looking for. They typically bounce back.
It's gonna be the
So
longest 2 days ever, bro.
oh, spend the day. Got tomorrow, and they play back on Thursday. So
Yeah.
You
Hey,
guys
so
think they up for offensive explosion, or you think it's gonna be another grind out game?
I think that's dependent on if Deuce brings his jump shot or not. If Deuce brings his jump shot,
mm,
if Deuce hits 3 threes, we're gonna win by 20.
I mean, I don't see Cat and like one of them two are gonna go off.
They should. But we can't have our short times to getting 20 points in the game. That's not no.
yeah, but that's
And you should have had like 30 if you didn't miss free throws.
yeah, but that's scheme. That part is scheme. JB Bickerstaff made an adjustment. When Cat comes up high to slow down Cade, they slide people behind Cat and they got layups at the
They
rim.
used the short roll with Jalen Duren, and Jalen Duren been
Yes.
hitting that guy at the dunker spot. They
Yep.
inverse it. And these are things that we could easily do,
I
but
know
we don't.
that's exactly like you give Cat the ball in the same position
If somebody
let-
got Tibbs' phone number, just
and let
hook me up. I
McHale-
call him.
I'll text him.
McHale or OG.
I know you will, baby.
Not even
Call
Mikhail or OG, because Osor's not even being guarded. You could let Josh be in the dunker spot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
well, part of that too
we
is
can
what
shoot a
Steve was
reverse
talking about,
layup.
though. Part of those dunker spot things. See, okay, so without being too basketball-y, the dunker spot only works if you have front side action that threatens the man to leave his man in the dunker spot to contest at the rim. And when they do contest, if you have a 6'4" guard down there coming to the rim, even you don't have to have a 7 foot. You can have a 6'8" Tobias Harris down there to block Josh Hart's shot.
But
And a lot
then,
of that was happening. Tobias
then,
Harris was
Freezy.
contesting at the rim.
even then, Freezy, once you create the advantage from Josh Hart to even block Josh Hart's shot, he has the pass to hit into the corner because your advantage was already created. If Tobias Harris is there for Josh Hart, there's no one in the corner to cover a 3-point shooter.
Right. Yep.
The
Yep.
advantage was already created. It's
Yep.
not for Josh to get the layup. It's to get an open shot. It's to create an advantage in general and exploit the advantage.
Right.
It's not for Josh to finish. It's for Josh to hit the shooter.
Right. Or the passer see Josh cut if that man. Yeah. So basically what Dre is saying is talking about the tag man committing to one player or the other.
Yeah,
If
you
the-
put
if the
them in a
tag-
dilemma.
Yep. Jeopardy. Yep. I got you. Yep. Everybody, I'm gonna run. Thank you, everybody, for coming through and rocking with us. I appreciate everybody. This has been a very enlightening conversation. I appreciate the fact that y'all got in y'all bag tonight about Game 5 instead of us pounding about Tibs or the organization. I'm thankful that we had positive vibes tonight, man. I really appreciate y'all for that. Chat, make sure y'all smash that like button, right? If you're new here, subscribe to the channel, right? Do what Corey Lee told you to do, or I'm gonna send Corey Lee to your house.
Hey, I don't mind coming neither.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Thank y'all for coming through, rocking with us. Peace, everybody.
Peace.
Peace.